from Las Trancas Valley here in Nevados de Chilean, group of stratovolcanoes in the Andes of Nuble region, central Chile. It's one of the most active volcanoes in the region. Consists of 3 overlapping peaks. Cerro Blanco at the northwest, Volcan Viejo at the southeast, and Volcan Nuevo in the middle. We're here today with OSC King of the Hill Weekly number 173. I'm of course Yosiaku of Dizaku, and with me today is La Cría de mi día, Concha que siempre está mirando. Like, _ VIP, how we doing? Like,
Siempre mirando, papi, siempre mirando. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another OSC King of the Hill. And Yaku, I love the idea of, like, it's too late now, we're like 173 editions in, but I like the idea of us, like, being introduced to, like, a different hill each time. we're in a different, like, set of hills or, like, mountain range each time we get into this. And that's what we're fighting over. True?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's how you every time.
That's how you get mountains named after you in OSC King of the Hill.
Yeah. Old mate Andy got his own mountain. Anyway, we're gonna be kicking things off with a cheeky little PVT with one of our players here actually being the reigning king. So we're gonna see if he can expend his realm here, or if he's gonna get stopped over here on post U. We're in the bottom left hand corner of the map, so all the way in the bottom left. We have our red Terran player. He's of course going to be representing Platinum Heroes. We have Nikorat.
And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have his opponent, we have his teammates, but also reigning King of the Hill from last week, the German Protoss player. The green Protoss representing the Platinum Heroes. It is for Jumi.
Oh,
here we go. And yeah, again, it's great to be back here, Yaku. It's been a while since we've casted OSC King of the Hill together. Usually we're covering like WTL or ESL Aegis. It's good to have you back here in a bit of a different format and in a bit of a more unique format that we rarely get to see outside of this tournament.
Yeah, very... I wouldn't necessarily call it cutthroat, but I mean, that is what it is. You always have to watch your back over here on King of the Hill for if anybody wants to... take your place. But yeah, one that's definitely a lot more intense, one that has even fewer second chances. It's a best of one every single time.
Exactly. For those that are maybe tuning in for the first time for OSC King of the Hill, welcome. This is a tournament that's been running for many years at this point, again, for 173 weeks. I think even more than that, because there were like some special like 24-hour editions as well. Yeah, this is an event that is held purely off of best of ones. Best of ones. Winner stays on, loser is eliminated. But on top of that, the challenger also gets the map pick, which adds another factor into this. I believe the King of the Hill gets one Veeder, only a singular Veeder, and the challenger can pick whatever map they want from there. And already the Reaper getting quite a bit of damage done across the map, but at the same time, Jimmy is spicing things up quite heavily here in game one.
Yeah, 2 probes do go down for 4 Jumi, but you didn't even need him. Let's be honest, as he is going for... There we go, the proxy Dark Shrine. I was waiting to see what he makes from this Twilight Council.
Exactly, you don't proxy a Twilight Council unless you're planning to proxy the Dark Shrine as well, so a spicy build so far. Now, the Reaper has seen quite a lot, and by that I mean hasn't seen much, which is a big tell. No expansion. No expansion whatsoever. Nickrak did confirm that. Nickrak should be aware that something is wrong, something is amiss. He's already got his own base up and running. He's getting to his own 1-1-1. We have a safety bunker on the ramp, which is going to defend against something like an Immortal All-In, but what about a drop into the main?
Yeah, Cyclone is about to pop out, and it could definitely be a little bit of a deterrent for the Warp Prism, but of course, if the DTs do land, or if the DTs are able to escape from the Warp Prism, assuming 4 Jumi warps them in prior to lifting them up and sending them to their base, Nikorak's still going to be in a whole lot of trouble. He's only now going to be finishing up the starport. More importantly, though, Nikorak does confirm this. He knows he has to save a scan.
There you go. Big scout there for Nick. Again, we mentioned that he's scouted across the map. He saw the lack of expansion, so he's getting ready. But the DTs are already loading in. We have one DT in the natural. We have one DT going for the main base. Do we have any scans at the moment? We do not. We have one scan. Oof.
That's the only scan he's going to have for a little while. Nice save and hot pickup here from Forjumi. That is a disgusting location to warp in from. I was assuming Forjumi was going to warp the DTs elsewhere, then pick them up and then send them into the main, but yeah, apparently there's just this little tiny speck here that is unguarded or doesn't really have a lot of vision on it.
Yeah, I mean, you have the high ground. There's this pillar here where you can just park the prism on top of, and there we go. Another DT does a waddle in. This is the second DT. The first one did go down. No scans available, but there is a Raven on the way.
Man, that's going to be absolutely crucial. The Raven pops out, and that's going to be about the end of the DT harassment. I was already able to do so much. 7 SCVs go down.
Yes, 7 SCVs, 5 Marines, lost mine time as well. Behind this, Forjumi is expanding, but this is a late expansion for Forjumi. He does do a lot of damage, but ideally we're looking for even more, and we're going for more with the eventual Archon drop.
Like so. This War Prism is pretty low on health, which is a little bit worrisome. But Forjumi is going to try and see what he can get done regardless.
Yeah, fun fact, he's out of vision. He's barely out of vision. He does slip into the main base. He can go for a warp in as well if he so chose to. And there's not much to defend, but there is a tank behind this alongside that Raven with auto turrets.
And that's going to be absolutely crucial here. Cyclone goes down, and that does hamper a little bit of the anti-air, but not too much. Oh, nice juggling coming out from Forjumi. Loses the Adept, but will be able to save both of his Archons.
Ooh, that was some really slick micro from Forjumi, as you mentioned. Very careful with his movement, very careful with his pickups as well. He was able to save both the Archons. Behind this, double expanding, just now getting his natural, now going straight for a third Nexus behind this. But again, he does need to play catch-up, and he did not get the tank. That's what he was gunning for. The tank did survive, but he does get into the mineral line, and he will pick off some more SCVs.
Yeah, hoping to get a little bit of friendly fire, ideally. Not quite getting it, but once again, we'll keep both of the Archons alive while taking out a couple more SCVs. That double expansion for Forjumi, that is greedy, but you know what? He has some map control. He might as well try to make use of it. For now, as Stim is about to finish up for Nikorak, and I can't imagine he wants to stay back home for too much longer.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Stim is a big moment for him. Medevacs are still on the way, so he maybe wants to wait for that before he moves out across the map. Third TC's in production, so that shows us that Nikorak does not intend to go for a 2-base all-in, but he should soon move out with the arrival of these Medevacs with some drop play.
Yeah, that's ideally going to be the plan here for Nikorak.
It is going to be the plan. We do have our Archon zipping in once again, getting 4 SCVs. Not too shabby at all here. I mean, these workers are softened up from earlier, but here we go. The Medevacs have finally arrived, and now we can move out. We can potentially hunt down the Prism or just send it across the map.
Or you can do both. With the fate and fortunes in your favor, one Archon will go down. Nice target firing from Nikorak, trying to sim on fort. Doesn't quite get the Warp Prism. Yeah, but already this is massive value.
Yeah, very nicely done here. He would have liked the Prism. Thanks to the Archon, it did give its life for the cause and did allow the Prism to escape with the alongside the other Archon as well. Forjumi does survive. Likewise, the drop pulls back. We pull back here, we're amassing tanks, and third CC is now being taken for Nikorak.
Like so. And this is going to be the end of the proxy. Very unfortunate to have the Twilight Council over here researching.
Yes.
This is going to delay a lot.
I mean, Blink is almost done, but Blink is going to be shut down. A massive denial here from Nikorak. At the same time, though, Forjumi, he sees the army. He's coming in for the kill. He wants to try to sandwich this.
Oh, it looks like he will! Nikorak just about able to get out of here with most of his Marines and with his siege tank at the very least.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, imagine if we had Blink. Like, could have been a different story there. At the same time, the double drop still being active across the map. Forjumi forced to recall back home. He does recall in time, but he has to pull back home. Nikorak is safe to expand, take his third base, and likewise even drop into the main.
Like so. All that SCV damage from earlier on going to be reciprocated. Once again, no blink on these stalkers, so these medevacs are going to have a much easier time dipping in and out.
Oh yeah, they pose a bigger threat here to the bases of Forjumi. At the same time, NickRack pushing right down mid. He does catch some Zealots. Again, the Zealots, they have no support, so they're going to be cleaned up completely. At the same time, Forjumi trying to come in, but that was a lot of Zealots down the drain.
Yeah, that was a lot of damage on the drain before the fight even began. We would see an, not an auto turret, an anti-armor missile on a lot of these beefy Protoss units. Finally, the medevacs will go down, but a couple more Marines that land. Forjumi, though, with the run-by, going to be able to disrupt a lot of not just the economy of Nicorak, but also a lot of reinforcements.
Yeah, back and forth aggression here. We have the drop late from Nickrak getting 6 probe kills, but 11 SCVs go down to the Zealot drop, so both players are hurting, both players are keeping up with each other. Speaking of Forjumi trying to catch this drop.
Trying to, but just not getting it.
Yeah, that icon is so low, so close to going down. Forjumi had to back off for reinforcements. Nickrak likewise retreating as well. And we're calming things down. We can see Nickrak building up towards Ghost now on 3 bases. Likewise, Forjumi still not going for any kind of big splash damage. It's just Charge Lots and Immortals just now finally finishing up Blink.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be key. But he is getting a Robo Bay behind all this, so he is still thinking forward. This is going to take a long time, though, for Forjumi's production to get up and running, for him to be able to research... Well, I was going to say be able to research thermal ads, but I have a feeling Forjumi... It's not going to be Colossus we're seeing out of this, is it?
I mean, it very well so could be Disruptors, definitely, instead of those Colossus. We'll keep an eye on Forjumi. At the same time, he's moving out across the map. But Nickrak is in position, has plenty of bio here. The Zealot's having a hard time pushing in. The choke point is very nice, and from here we can get on top of the Archons.
Yeah, that choke point is absolutely beautiful here from Nicorak. Not a lot of splash damage from Forjumi either, so yeah, he's able to make full use of it.
Yeah, at the same time, looks like we did distract Nickrak. A couple of Zealots did trickle in, and 6 SCVs went down. Not bad. You can see the worker counts are neck and neck between both these players. We're even on bases. I want to give the edge to Nickrak here because he has Mules on top of that. Forjumi still just barely keeping up, and arguably taking some rough fights as well. Did bleed out a lot of Zealots there, and again, only got those 6 workers. And hey, you called it. Not Colossus.
There we go. That's the Forjumi I know.
He's an animal, Papi. Let's go.
Let's go.
But again, it's almost 12 minutes into the game, and we're now getting to our first splash damage unit of choice. It's also because, remember, the Robo was proxied as well. So because the Robo went down, it had to be rebuilt. It delayed the Bay. Like, everything was so delayed here for Jumi. And now we're moving out. Double jump into the main base. At the same time, we hit towards the gold.
And this is going to be a multi-prong that I do not see Forjumi defending against. I mean, he can save one of his bases, but not both of them.
Yeah, speaking of, that's a lot of probes going down. Nice EMP on the army, but does Nickrak have the numbers to actually break through this force? It looks like he barely does, but we have the overcharge on the high ground. At the same time, that's a kill on the natural. The Nova!
Ooh. Very important Purification Nova, but in this case, it is going to take more than just one. The correct army starting to thin out, or his front line starting to thin out, but he still has plenty of additional units that are making their way across the map for Jumi, trying to chase down this drop while at the same time trying to distract Nicorak on the other side of the map, keep the reinforcements from getting across.
Yeah, and he does keep the
That's
reinforcements.
The one thing. Yeah, this is the one thing keeping Forjumi alive, is this one Warp Prism.
It is. I mean, the Warp Prism has been doing so much here, where Zealot drops into the main base, Zealot harass as well, just keeping the army busy, as you did mention. Forjumi does hold, but he lost the gold. He lost the gold, he lost the hybrid base as well. Forjumi is down to 2 bases. He does have a lot of disruptors. There is a chance. There's a world where if he can land some juicy connections, some beautiful purification overs, then he could take a fight, but that's a big if.
Yeah, what, he's got 3 disruptors? 3 Purification Novas, well-timed and well-positioned. Can absolutely take out this army, but like you said, it's a big if. We can see Forjumi throwing out a couple of pot shots because he knows he cannot afford to get caught with his pants down.
And speaking of, we're caught with our pants down because we are across the map. We're going for a full base trade. We missed the army. Nickrak gets a kill at the natural, can go straight for the main. A couple of probes are going to be evacuated, so Forjumi does manage to escape, does have the money for a Nexus, but can he push in? Up.
He's gonna try. Good force field. But I feel like the heart of Nicorak's production is just way too much. Nicorak might be forced to lift up his third, but he's been mining for a whole lot before this, and he does have a little bit of a bank to work with to get a couple of reinforcements. Oh, maybe I'm speaking too soon.
Yeah, boys are being
very
pulled.
quickly spent that bank.
And Nova's going to be going off. One Immortal's going to be going down. Nova's, they will connect. So Jimmy will bust into the main. That is true. But at the same time, Nicorak across the map, there's nothing to stop him. There's nothing to stand in his way from killing every single building here in the main base. GG gets pulled. And Nicorak will take the first game.
GG. The king has fallen. Long live the king. How's that for a premiere?
There you go. GG, well played. Long live the new king here. Nicorak is going to be our new king of the hill. For Jimmy had a great performance last week, and he was our reigning king, but he has since been killed. It was a bit of a shorter reign for Jimmy. Oh.
No, I like the idea of for Jimmy being a hill.
There you go. The hill for Nicorak to stand on here. So congratulations, Nicorak. He does take the first game, but that was merely game 1, and we have 14 more players lined up to knock Nicorak down.
Yeah, potentially. For Jumi again at some point later on the line. We don't know.
It's possible. It is possible. He could be resurrected. For the time being, though, we're heading over to the Americas region because we are getting ready for our next opponent.
Indeed, we are.
So already a spicy game 1, but something to look forward to here is that we're not just going to the Americas, we're going to be featuring one of our own, Yako. We're going to be featuring the King of the Sea, if you will.
Ah, Starduck.
No. No. He's the king of Kerrigan survival. That's
He is.
He is.
No one can take that away from him.
Yeah,
except for that brief moment where I think Warfield was buffed.
Mm-hmm. Wait, you said a bunch of stuff that I have no idea what you just said. I don't follow Kerrigan survival.
Okay, that was my hope. I was hoping I could just say some random words and pick up on something.
Yeah, Warfield, he was buffed. So was Selendis, and Starduck did actually retire for a bit.
And then Kerrigan doesn't survive.
Yeah, Kerrigan didn't survive.
Yeah. Spoilers, by the way.
God. We're getting ready for our next Mr. 1. As you can see here on the screen, it's going to be Nicorak versus Miomaika in a TVZ.
Ooh, boy, spicy. And ordinarily, I would have to say, I would even favor Miomaika in a ZVT like this, but I'm kind of worried at this point, lad. I feel like Miomaika's TVZ or ZVT has been out there for quite a while. He does have a little bit of a reputation for the quirks that he likes to do in this matchup, so we'll see if Nicorak, and Nicorak is absolutely a player who we know does his homework.
Yeah. As you mentioned, like initially, especially when Miomaika was more active a couple of years ago, he would catch a lot of players off guard. You know, we've seen Miomaika bring down Showtime, bring down Spirit, some of the best European players out there. But as you mentioned, nowadays we've seen a lot more of him. Players are more aware of Miomaika, of his Ling Hydra style, of his Ling Hydra heavy reliance as well. And I'm sure Nicorak is aware of this. I'm sure Nicorak has a little bit of experience with Miomaika, so I feel like Miomaika has lost some of that surprise factor. Some of it, because sometimes you can know what he's doing and he'll still just catch you off guard somehow. Like he's an animal.
Yeah. He is. You can figure out what he's doing, but the problem is when you start to assume when he's going to do it. Then we'll hit you when you least expect it. But regardless, we're going to be continuing our journey here. I don't want to call it a series because, I mean, is it really a series if it's best of 1? Anyway, we're going to be continuing our trek, our hike. We're going up the hill.
Yeah.
Running up that hill as we continue our series on Oceanborn, where we're here in the top. I'm losing altitude. It's getting to me in the top left-hand corner of the map. Spawning all the way to the top left, we have our red Terran player, our current king of the hill. He's, of course, going to be representing Platinum Heroes. We have Nicorak.
Like, it's getting too high up. The altitude is it's getting thin. You know, I'm running out of oxygen. I'm getting lightheaded. Like, oh my god. Too high. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have going for the pool first, the blue Zerg player representing Team Gosu, the King of the Sea from land of Vietnam. It is Mio Micah.
Be like, oh my god, how high up are you? And be like, 100 meters.
You're like cuffing down.
So what happens when our
oxygen tanks?
That's what happens when our tallest natural land point is like 60 meters above sea level.
Feels bad, man. Feels bad. But we are settling in, and again, I'm always excited to see what Mio Micah has to offer. I think more often than not, we're really looking to see what Mio Micah brings to the table and how our Terran player Nickract can react and respond to what he scouts. I should also mention as well that Mio Micah he has like different kind of like tech paths that he goes down. You know, if he gets scouted, then he's very quick and very malleable to just like transition and to switch to something different.
Different indeed, as we're about to see a road rush come up from Mio Micah.
And Nickract has a piece of the puzzle. Now, he saw the late expansion. He knows it was a pool first. Doesn't know if it's just pool first just to be safe or pool first to commit into a Roach Warren. It's on this Reaper to figure things out. For the time being, it looks like he's looking for the Lings. Again, Lings are being sent out across the map. Nickract knows this, and these Lings are keeping him a little bit busy.
Yeah, going on a little bit of a divergent path to the other side of the map, and because of that, Nickract, who was anticipating Lings to run down the middle, doesn't quite get him and waits a little bit longer than he needs to. He will, however, scout the Roach Warren, but we already have 5 roaches on the way. We are on Oceanborn, so it's a pretty standard-ish map. There is a little bit of time here for Nickract to gather up his defenses and fortify his base.
Speaking of, we do have the bunker on the high ground, as you all know. Against early roaches, it is typically very wise to just lift the natural. Just lift the natural, defend on one base, secure yourself, and then re-expand thereafter as roaches are being sent out. Bearing in mind that Mio Micah is not going all in, it is a roach rush, but we are droning up behind this. And Nickract does confirm the droning.
Yeah, thankfully. Last thing you want to do against a roach rush like this is overreact. Well, no, that's the second last thing you want to do. The last thing you want to do is underreact.
True. But Nickract, he does react quite well here. Not over, not under, but just right. As again, Nickract did confirm that Mio Micah was droning up, which means we can focus on expanding, on re-establishing our natural base, and even getting to our 1-1-1 setup into what looks to be Banshees.
Yeah, just a really safe way of utilizing the 1-1-1 whilst you can. Banshees obviously can be useful to harass as well as to defend against these roaches, so you might as well get them.
There we go, Banshees on the way, throwing CC as well to get into a longer macro game. Nickract just securing himself here on 2 bases. You can see that Mio Micah, he has since pulled back his roaches. He wasn't able to achieve too much. Did acknowledge that Nickract was ready, so Mio Micah did not overcommit, did not throw away his roaches.
That he did not. Instead, grabs the 3rd base, grabs 14 Lings.
Yeah, that's a hefty amount of Lings on the way here, as Nickract is being active hunting down Overlords as we speak, and it looks like he will get another Overlord. Meanwhile, Lings are coming in, roaches from behind. Mio Micah wants to try to catch this army.
And he might be able to get it.
You say that, but this positioning is brutal here. The Lings, they do not get to surround these Marines trade as well as possible.
That they do. They will get cleaned out in the end. This is very good use of the shrubbery here from Nickract. They will get cleaned out in the end, but Mio Micah spent a lot of Lings to get this. Sure, you can argue that Lings are expendable, but when you start losing 18 of them this early on for only 7 Marines, not exactly a very good trade, I would say.
Yeah, the battle report tells a story here. It wasn't just the 18 Lings, it was those 4 Overlords that we caught in the center of the map as well. Like, that was a lot of Overlords caught out, so very efficient trades here by Nickract. And as you mentioned, because of these Banshees, he's safe against any kind of roach aggression. Against roaches, but not against Mio Micah's favorite unit, as we throw down our tech of choice.
Indeed, it's going to be the Infestor.
Oh, let's go.
No, it's going to be the Hydra.
Yeah, the Hydroden has been thrown down, and Miyamaika is still yet to saturate his bases, still staying on a relatively lower drone count, but is now heavily droning up and working towards his mass Hydra. Again, it's what Miyamaika does enjoy playing with. He's almost there, not quite yet though.
Yeah, so he's a little bit of time to get that anti-air. Thankfully for Miyamaika, he did not neglect detection. So these Banshees can be shooed away.
Yeah, Miyamaika, he's making another queen. I mean,
what?
and he's spreading creep. He's spreading creep.
Huh?
He's crazy.
This is a meal.
I knew there was something different about it. There are people watching right now that maybe don't know who Miyamaika is, and they're like, what do you mean? Yeah, you're meant to make queens. You're meant to spread creep. You are meant to make queens. You're meant to spread creep. Miyamaika isn't. That's not what he does.
Yeah, Miyamaika plays by his own rules, evidently. Or he used to, anyway.
Uh-huh.
He once gave, in that victory speech when he won the Southeast Asia / Oceania regional, he said, yeah, I tried to study from Rogue, I tried to study from Dark, but I realized, you know what, that ain't me.
Yeah.
I just gotta be true to myself and only make enough queens to inject my bases, utilize overlords to spread creep, and then just make nothing but Hydras.
Yeah.
And that he was successful with that in the past, but this is a very new Miyamaika that we're seeing.
Yeah, this is a now matured, kind of like seasoned Miyamaika over the years. And yeah, Miyamaika is adjusting and he's adapting. He's even making a Baneling nest. For a long time, he refused to make Banelings as well, but he's making queens, he's spreading creep, he's making Banelings. I mean, yeah, Neo, let's go. He's playing some StarCraft.
Is he alright? Or is this just a new arc? The end of his character arc.
Yeah, it's the villain arc. It's
see.
where he was trying to like fight against the meta for so long, and now he's embracing the meta a little bit more. A little bit, as remember, because he prioritized Hydras, which is still unique, right? To prioritize Hydras over Banelings, Baneling Nest isn't even done. He still has to rely on Ling Bane to defend, which is not going to be easy.
Yeah, not against that amount of Sim Marines, not against 4 tanks, not even against those Banshees.
Yeah, the hatchery's going to be going down. We cannot push into these tanks. We have Ravagers on the way. It looks like they're just about to finish in time, but we do on Siege, which means we can avoid those piles. Up! Say that.
Oh! Yeah, just about very awkward timing here for Nicorag. This is Miyamaika getting probably the best that he could out of the situation. Still trades very inefficiently, or at least inefficiently for a Zerg versus a Terran. Yeah, I mean, he will be able to survive, and now he's got the Baneling Nest. He
does have the Baneling Nest, but as you mentioned, he lost. Oh my! As we rally another tank in. Oh, Nicorag bleeding out a lot of units, but he did get the base. He did get 6 workers. Miyamaika is down to 3 base saturation, and on top of that, his lava is impacted as well. So Miyamaika doesn't have much to work with, but does he have enough? He's moving out across the map, and remember, the tank count was reset. We are down to a singular tank for the time being.
We are down to a single tank, but that's a lot of Marines, and no Banelings here for Miyamaika.
So far, so good. Banshee's coming in from behind. Detection not here. We can chase down the Hydras.
Indeed, we can. Great use of choke point as well from Nicorag there. Unfortunate for Miyamaika as well. A lot of his Zerglings were actually behind the Hydras during that fight.
Yeah, so a lot of Hydras went down very early on. That was an expensive loss for Miyamaika. Nicorag holds. Nicorag saves a 4cc, can get back underway. Yep. And with this, Nicorag does have a nice lead. Miyamaika isn't dead, but he's got some catching up to do as he is double expanding.
Indeed, he is. This is very greedy. You know what I like here for Miyamaika? He's getting Baneling speed. No, okay, there we go. I was going to say, he's getting Baneling speed, but still has no Banelings. But there we go. Yeah. 15 of them on the way.
Yeah, we have the Banelings on the way. Scan does reveal Baneling production as well, so Nicorag is fully aware of what he's up against Ling Bane Hydra, which is a standard unit composition, but we got here in a strange way, right? And we did punish Miyamaika for it, we mentioned before, but we had no Banelings for the first push, which is why Nicorag traded so efficiently with it. And because of that, Nicorag does have a pretty substantial supply lead. We'll see if Miyamaika can make up for it as he's knocking down these rocks, still going to apply pressure to the 4th.
Yeah, ideally he wants to take it out before it can even land, but Nicorag, he is aware. We're going to fortify that area. leaving the natural a little bit exposed, though.
Yeah, natural is a little bit more exposed. Miyamika has options. For the time being, it looks like he wants to collapse on the 4th base. From multiple angles, he's going to be pushing in.
And I feel like this is the right choice. He's going to be able to sandwich this entirely. Banelings crash into every single, or almost every single Marine. Now it's every Marine.
Yeah, the Bio Army does crumble. We had plenty of tanks, but they were not quite in position. GG gets called as Miyamika breaks the 4th base, and Miyamika is our new King of the Hill.
How? Oh, man. GG, nicely done here from Miyamika. I gotta admit, even as a Terran player, looking at all those Banelings crash into Marines, that was pretty satisfying. That gave me some tingles. I have to imagine that for Miyamika, a Zerg player who has held off from using Banelings this entire time, I can't imagine how satisfying that was for him.
It was a new experience, I'm sure, for Miyamika. It was he was like, this is the power of the Baneling? Oh my god, what have I been doing with my career? What have I... but as you mentioned...
What if we unleashed?
What if we did unleash? I mean, Nickrat was in a really good position. Nickrat, he had shut down bases, he had an economic lead, he had a good tank count as well, but he did not spot the main army. Because that he had 1 tank in position to defend, he had 3 tanks further back at the natural. Likewise, that was the best fight that Miyamika could have hoped for. As you mentioned, you could not kite against that because he got the perfect surround. He locked down the Bio Army, and we saw some Baneling connections that we rarely get to see.
Yeah. It's the most satisfying ones.
Viewers in the chat.
You know what?
Uh-huh.
You know what? I can sympathize with that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Mio, you can't kiss yourself, so I wish I could kiss myself as well. So
shaking my head.
I feel that.
Congratulations, Miyamika does take the game, does become our new King of the Hill. Mio, if you're still in the chat, let us know what has made you start making queens, spreading creep and making banelings as well. And if you notice, but yeah, you're not quite playing like you used to back in the day a couple of years ago. So the evolution of Miyamika is real.
I like how you tell to Mio, yeah, I'm not sure if you know this, but you're not playing like you normally do. You know what? I would believe it. I would believe that Mio is not aware that he's playing differently either.
Look, sometimes it takes someone else to be a little bit self-reflective, you know? So we'll see. We'll see if we get an update. As for now, we're jumping into our next game.
Yeah, that's why you're going to that. I thought you were going to like, you know, sometimes Jesus takes wheel.
True.
This goes into the body. Does the job for you. But yeah, we're going to be loading into our next game. We already have a challenger here for Miyamika. It's not going to be another Terran player. It is going to be a Protoss player. A very interesting up-and-coming player, I would say.
Oh yeah, has been up-and-coming for quite some time now and has been on our radar, and we'll see if he can take the crown for himself. It's not going to be easy. Sporting in the bottom left-hand corner of Amphion, we have our blue Protoss player representing Bing Bong Exports. It is Holden.
I think we talked about it, but that is a name that just delights me. Anyway, here in the top left-hand corner map, starting all the way in the top left-hand corner of Amphion, we have our red Zerg player coming out from the land of Vietnam. He, of course, is going to be representing his team, Gosu Pro. Gosu, wait, yes. No, it's Gosu somewhere in there. He is Nojiji Mio Maika.
Here we go. We're diving into into our next game here, into our next set of challengers even, as again Holden has been on the rise. I mean, he's been competing for a couple of years at this point, but he's always been like a semi-pro up-and-comer, but as of recently he has been getting better and better results. So definitely my eyes are on Holden here to see if he can take it to a more established veteran like Miyamika.
Yeah, I'm feeling the exact same way. I do think that it's going to be on Holden here to try to whip something out, try to do something a little bit different. Already, we do have a little bit of a pylon block, of course, the unnatural natural. Not something you see too often nowadays. with the 15 hatch.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Miyamaka, he did open up pool first here, but was forced to expand elsewhere despite that. So nice block from Holden. We do see Miyamaka able to get into his queen, into his link production. He might opt to be a little bit more aggressive here. Meanwhile, Holden has shown us some aggression already. I think it was in the last Sparkling Tuna Cup or one of the previous tournaments last week. We did cast Holden against Mixu, and Holden did use Glaive Adepts to great effect.
Yeah, on this map, as a matter of fact. I was able to just sort of shade back and forth, and yeah, was able to just really cripple Mixu before he was able to get that economy up and running. Holden coming in for a little bit of a scout. Doesn't see too much out of the ordinary, but once again, I have to imagine that Holden is going to be taking more of an active role in this match, is going to be the player to not be as reliant on trying to counter what Miyamaka is throwing his way, and instead trying to come up with a game plan of his own for Mio to counter.
Yeah, exactly. So our eyes are definitely on Holden. For the time being, it's going to be a Stargate opener into, I imagine, Oracle. Could be a Void Ray first to hunt down these Overlords. We'll keep an eye on Holden. Likewise, I wonder if Holden is aware of Miyamaka. Like, Holden, again, he isn't as experienced as some of these other pros. He isn't as experienced as Nickrak, for example. So, yeah, I don't know how much he's aware of Miyamaka's style and his tendencies in the ZVP matchup as well.
Yeah, well, you brought up Mixu earlier on, so yeah, Miyamaka and Mixu have very different styles, but they are practice partners, so Holden might have been able to glean something or another from that. Already one Adept does step in, does get a couple of drones, and will end up going down.
A bit of a 2-for-1 there. We do see Holden getting a safety shield battery just in case. Do have an Oracle on the way. And because of loading into Amphion, this does also mean that Holden, if he so chooses, could actually just focus on walling off here at the natural and mining through these minerals and expanding on the left-hand side instead to get a much more secure third base as well. I'm sure that's a big reason as to why Holden did pick this map of all maps to get into.
Yeah, I would not be surprised either. As for now, we're still on 2 bases. Well, I would not be surprised either, but I have to wonder if Holden is also planning to get beyond the 2-base stage of this game.
Yeah, I mean, he would have already been mining through these minerals if he wanted to expand here on the left-hand side. And meanwhile, that is a fast layer out of Miyamaka. That was a sub 420 layer timing on the way.
Sub 420.
There you go.
I dig it. As yeah, this is going to be very important for Holden to scout, but he actually doesn't go right to the main base.
Yeah, he doesn't check the main base. He doesn't see the lair timing back at home. That is a Twilight Council before the third base. What does this mean? Should be Glaives. Should be Glaive Adepts. And if Miyamaka is planning on rushing into Hydras, it's only 2 gases. But if he takes a third gas and if he tries to go into Hydras, then he could be in some trouble. As I say that, he's massing Lings. This could even be like a Ling Queen Nidus all in.
It could. Yeah, that's probably what it is. I was hoping to see 2 more gases being taken and to see mutas. It's one way of shutting down the Adepts, but yeah, I think you're probably more on the money there as Miyamaka continuing to build up more and more queens. He has an Overlord. There's the Nidus. He has an Overlord right outside the main base here of Holden.
Yeah, here we go. So it is going to be a Ling Queen Nidus all in out of Miyamaka. Oracle's in position. Ling's going to be forced back from the third base. And again, Holden hasn't seen anything. He has not confirmed anything here across the map. There's no tell whatsoever. He is going to be warping in multiple Adepts, though. That might be a bit of a saving grace for Holden, as he's going for his own Glaive Adept push, which means he will have an army to work with against at least the Adepts. Sorry, at least against the Lings.
Yeah, the Queen's going to be a little bit of a different story, but obviously, if Miyamaka gets a bit too ahead of himself, if he ends up isolating the Queens from the Lings, then that's going to be something that Holden can absolutely take advantage of.
Yeah, no shield battery. No shield batteries at the third base. There's a shield battery here at the natural with the overcharge, but no defenses here. Now we get a shield battery on the way, but you know what? The Nidus is done. The Queens are waddling in.
Just like so. Lings trying to come in from another angle, trying to draw these Adepts away for a surround, but Holden's not taking the bait.
Yeah, really patient player to Holden. Second shield battery on the way. The other backup shield battery was focused out. It was killed, not cancelled. I'm loving the shade as well in case we do get surrounded. We do shut down the Nidus.
Just like so. Shut down this. Oh!
We'll get around to
Okay,
it.
we should be able to take it out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. That sort of does go down. We do have a backup Nidus in the center of the map. Now, Miyamika is droning. Miyamika is droning up back at home. He is trying to transition out of this. We commit to the shade.
Ooh. We commit to the shade right on top of all these lings. The trap was set. And these queens as well popping out in the middle of the map. That was massive brain for Miyamika.
Yeah, he came in with the queens. He did reinforce. That was 12 adepts going down. And what does this mean? This means that back at home we're safe. This means that Holden is stuck here for the time being. He needs extra waves of reinforcements. And that was a very nice engagement there by Miyamika. We're following this up with some Hydras.
Naturally. But also with Banes.
Yeah.
Yo. New Miyamika.
New Miyamika, Ling, Bane, Hydra. He has discovered the Baneling as a unit. Queens are waddling in. We have creep being spread as we speak. Overlords are dropping creep as well, and Holden's in trouble. Now, thankfully, Holden does have those 2 shield batteries, but again, he only has adepts to defend. And here come the Banelings.
Yeah, ooh. Probes not quite able to get their buildings in time. Banelings will waddle on in. Will crash through the pylon, get on top of the mineral line. And there's just not enough left here for Holden. GG is called. Miyamika going to be taking that game, going to be securing his role as the king, at least for another series.
GG. GG, well played. Miyamika will take the game, but a shout out to Holden. His initial hold was good. When he first deflected the initial Nidus Worm and the initial Queenling aggression, he was also shaving off a lot of Lings. Like, his early setup was solid. It was very unfortunate, though, that he committed to the shade, that he got caught out in the center of the map. He also had no follow-up scout because the Oracles went down to the Queens, so he did not know that it was going to be a Ling Bane Hydra follow-up, didn't know how much danger he was in, what kind of army was coming his way.
Yeah, it was a very patient hold initially here from Holden. You know, living up to his name a little bit. Living up to his name a little bit, but yeah, that shade in the center of the map was what killed him. I have to wonder if he was even had enough time to react, to be honest, because obviously, normally, in a scenario like that, you hold as a Protoss player, you go across the map, your Zerg opponent is waiting back at home where it's more defensible, where they can get potentially a concave on you with queens, potentially some spine crawlers as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if Holden, you know, wasn't quite looking at the exact moment he needed to, as we could see Miyamika actually only wanted to retreat to the middle of the map, where he could surround all of those adepts, where the Nidus Worm even was popping out as a bit of a backup to allow the queens to provide even more support.
Oh yeah, exactly.
That was huge brained.
It was insane setup there. Miyamika with the big brain plays once again. Is he back? Again, Miyamika has been on a bit of a hiatus. He hasn't been as active as he once was back in the day, but yeah, not looking too bad here so far in tonight's King of the Hill. Now with 2 wins under his belt, the first player tonight to actually have a bit of a deeper run. Again, Nick Racht was able to claim the crown from Fujumi, and Miyamika refuses to let go of that crown. Not yet, at least.
Not yet. As we'll gonna be waiting to see who his next challenger is here.
Yeah, we have
a couple of names.
we have a new challenger, but the question becomes, what race will they play? Because this player here has had a bit of an identity crisis as of late. It is going to be Iba, but is it going to be the Polish Protoss or the English Zerg?
I'm trying to think of a country that starts with Z for that alliteration. Zulu? Potentially? No, that's not a country anymore.
I don't think so.
Zimbabwe.
There you go. There you go.
Zimbabwe and Zerg. That's
shaking my head.
Not from Zimbabwe. Not from Poland either.
No, but he has embraced that. He has embraced that side of him.
He has, so.
He was, you
know.
Yeah,
Iba for... Yeah, Iba for a very long time was considered to be, or at least I was considering him, to be kind of the Zerg hope of the UK. until very recently, as you mentioned, he did decide, you know what, I'm gonna play Protoss instead, and I was like, oh, all right then.
Yeah.
Your hands are too fast for Protoss, Eva.
True.
You squander your gifts.
I mean, it's a good way to stream though, because it means he has that much free APM to just type in the chat.
That is also true, actually.
But yeah, Eba, as you mentioned, for a long time was a Zerg player, was a Zerg competitor, but over the past couple of months, or the past like maybe 2 months or so, he has made a full switch to Protoss. He was dabbling in Protoss every now and then, of course, but recently he did make a full switch. But every now and then he still likes to dabble in Zerg as well, so that's why I'm still not 100% certain whether we get Protoss or Zerg from him.
Yeah, that's gonna be a question. I don't think we can really consider Eba to be a Protoss player until he matches his epic LAN win as a Protoss.
True.
As so far, he's won once as Zerg.
Mm-hmm.
If he can win again as Protoss, that I think will be when we have to acknowledge his Protoss prowess.
Exactly. So we'll get there. I'm sure. As it looks like we have our lobby, and we will soon figure out where exactly or what race we're going to be playing here, whether it's the ZVZ or the ZVP. And for now, it looks like Eba is going to be playing Zerg, I think.
Yeah, Miyamaka says go. Eba.
Oh.
Oh?
Oh.
Oh? Go? Oh?
Okay, ZVZ, let's go.
It's ZVZ. Alrighty then.
So
This is gonna be.
go on.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is gonna be interesting, not just because now this rounds off the matchups here that we've seen so far from Miyamaka, but also a bit of a blast from the past here. Eba Zerg.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while since I've casted Eba as a Zerg player, so I'm happy to bear witness. But I'm also pretty certain the big reason for this is because he is aware of Miyamaka and his playstyle, and he probably doesn't want to get Ling Hydra'd as a Protoss player. Like, Miyamaka does not lead to standard games, and maybe he has something else in store for him here in the ZVZ.
Yeah, that's what we're soon to find out as we load into El Guione for map number 1, 4 overall, but no, yes, what? Math. El Guione, we're here in the top right-hand corner of the map, starting all the way in the top right. We have our Teal Zerg player coming out from the land of Vietnam once again, going to be representing Team Gosu Pro. From what I can remember, he is Yo Maika.
And sporting in the bottom left-hand corner of Alkione, we have our red Zerg player representing the Platinum Heroes. Once again, flexing Zerg, not Protoss. You do love to see it. It is Eba.
Eba.
Exactly. Here we go. Now, Miyamaka did open up pool first, but it looks like a safety pool first here out of Miyamaka, so in case he was 12 pooled or 13-12, then Miyamaka would shut it down as we are settling into our game, settling into Alkione.
Yeah. Manta Ray map.
Or Frog.
Or Frog. Or Torpedo, looking at it.
Torpedo?
Torpedo.
Not Rockets?
Rocket, torpedo. It's the same technology.
Yeah, some kind of phallic objects.
Yeah.
Like a chorizo.
A little fat, but yeah. A little fat down the middle, but yeah.
It's fine. We like it. As as we are settling in. I mean, you did mention that we have casted and covered Miyamaki against Terran, against Protoss, and now against Zerg. We're getting a full array of Mio here tonight. And with that pool first, we do have a handful of Lings moving out across the map, but only a handful of Lings. Ling speed is going to be a little bit later here as it just now does begin. Not too far behind that of Eba.
Yeah. Pretty neck and neck for the most part here. What I have to wonder is Miyamaka has shown that he's willing to tech into Banes, but will he pull a Miyamaka again? Which, for the uninitiated, for those who weren't around back in around, I want to say 2019, 2020, maybe 2021 as well. Mio Micah had some of the absolute worst splits against Banelings. There were actually even times where he wouldn't kite again or try to run away from Banelings.
Yeah.
Almost as if he intentionally was like, yes, Lings.
Yeah,
go
yeah.
attack.
We love
And run them straight
Miyamika.
into Pains.
We casted so much Miyamika over the years because we were, of course, the official like Oceanic casters, and we hosted our own Oceanic tournaments as well for Southeast Asia and Oceanic players. But yeah, so even Miyamika knew that his Ling Bane control was a little bit lacking, which makes sense that he's going for a Roche one. He's skipping Banelings entirely. The problem is that Iba is not. We have a Bailey Nest on the way. Iba could opt to be a little bit more assertive earlier on and try to catch Miyamika out before Roaches come into play.
Yep, it's all about the scouting here. I think Iba has caught on that Miyamika isn't getting a third. So actually, yeah, Iba gonna be the defender here as he does expand. He does get wind of all of these Lings coming his way.
Yeah, Iba is getting his third base up and running. It's almost done, but the Lings, they have a ride. We have a couple of Baileys to defend, but how good is our control? So far, one of the Bailings is baited out. We have one Bailing left here for Iba. He has to be very careful. Oh.
And he does. Pretty good connection here from Iba.
Yeah, very nice connection. Miyamika has to back off. He has caught a couple of Overlords though, and he is amassing Roaches. And fun fact, Miyamika, because he killed all those Overlords, no scouting. There's no third base, there's no droning. Miyamika's going all in, and Iba has not spotted this.
And he has not. He thinks he's weathered the storm. But really, he's in the eye of it.
Yeah, he is
now
in the
he
eye.
catches wind.
Now he knows. Now he catches wind. Iba was droning, by the way. Iba, he was droning up. You can see Iba droning up to 34. Spine Crawler's now on the way. Iba has to give up on this third base. He cannot save it. He has to try to defend the natural.
Yeah, he's going to be giving up the third base, which he can afford to do right now. He didn't make all those workers earlier on, but now it's all about, getting his larva on the way, making sure that he has enough to produce Lings.
Yeah, really nice target firing. Banelings got targeted down by the Roaches. Lings are going to be flooding in as well. Right now, they're being wasted here at the third base, but Queens are falling left and right. We have limited transfused energy, and here we go. Lings, they come in to reinforce.
Like so. This is probably the best position Iba could have gotten with his army, but even still, there's just way too much Zerg beating down this neck.
Yeah, exactly. Again, Iba, he just didn't know the All-In was coming until it was too late, until it was already looking, just gunning down his face, Papi. The Roaches go down, the Queens go down. GG gets called, and Miyamika takes down Iba.
I wasn't gonna do it 2 games in a row, but with that, call from Iba. Iba, man, his fingers be zooming even when he taps out. GG. GG.
There it is. GG, well played again. And Miyamika just doing such a great job just hiding the all-in, hunting down so many Overlords, keeping Iba busy back at home. And again, Iba was droning and teching up and working on the next phase of the game, whereas Miyamika just cut workers, made nothing but Ling Roach.
Nothing but, oof. GG. I see Iba in the chat. I hope this doesn't dissuade you from continuing to play Zerg.
Oh no. Iba's like, I knew it was a mistake. I'm going back to Protoss. I'm getting out of here. No. Stay with us, Iba. Stay with us. But regardless, GG, well played. Miyamika will take it in the end. He will hold on to his crown, remain our king of the hill, and he has taken out one of each race so far. Who's up next?
The Celestials. Something like that. 4th race coming down, question mark. But yeah, we're going to be keeping our eyes peeled here on OSC, or the in-game OSC chat, as well as the Discord server, to figure out who our next opponent's going to be here. Usually, we aren't privy to Eddie's lists when it comes to King of the Hill. So, our guess is as good as yours, dear viewers.
Yes, here we go. We will find our next players. But it looks like we might have to have a small break. It looks like we're gonna have a small break here as we get ready for our next series. The reason for that is, unfortunately, it sounds like Miyamika is otherwise you know, a little bit busy. There's something else that has popped up. Miyamika is unavailable, which means he does take down Iba, but Miyamika is going to be stepping away, and we do need to replace both players this time, not just one.
Wow, that was a short reign. But it's a voluntary abdication, which doesn't happen too often here in OSC. Or in general. So I'm not sure what the process is here. I think Miyamika rolls down the mountain as opposed to being thrown off it.
Yeah. I don't think this counts as like a walkover. I think we're just going to be replacing both players here. So you know, we're not missing out on a match or anything like that. Thankfully. But because we are finding two players, that's why we're going to be going on a bit of a break, just so we can get both.
So we can wrangle both our players here. I feel you, Iba.
I see Iba in the chat. Why didn't he leave during the game, Cap? Mate, you gotta earn that win, Bobby. You gotta earn that win, okay? Shaking my head.
You gotta earn that win by DDoSing your opponent. That's what I do.
All right, so yeah, we're gonna be going on a short break. When we return, we will have our next best of one. See you soon.
Yeah, see you then. And we are back here, coming in, loading into our next best of one, our great council, now being held as the previous king did step down without leaving an heir, but did narrow down two potential successors, and that's going to be what we're looking to determine here with this match. Who's going to be the next king succeeding Mio Micah? Will it be? Well, it will be determined here on Oceanborn, where we're here in the bottom right-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom right. We, of course, have our pink Protoss player, not from Poland, though. Unfortunately, he is from Ukraine. He is a spaceman. He is going to be representing Astronaut Esports. That's not how I normally pronounce it. He is Night Phoenix. Meow.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the Indian Zerg player, the Red Zerg representing Maturino Esports. It is Mio Micah. Mio Micah? Sorry, Demi, not Mio. Not anymore.
That was supposed to be a secret.
True.
They weren't supposed to know.
Exactly. As you did mention, there was no heir. Unfortunately, Mio Micah did end up passing away, and in his absence, we have no King of the Hill. Instead, we are here to determine, we're here to fight for the right of being that king. We have both Demi and Night Phoenix. No, both. Oh, that's, again, that almost was able to work.
Nice.
As both these two players, they do inhibit some of the features and aspects of Mio Micah in their own way. They both have some Mio in them. They're both, they can trace their lineage back to Mio in some way. They were birthed at the beach.
Demi. Yeah, they were birthed at the beach. Demi, of course, has those classic Mio traits of being an aggressive Zerg player who, likes to push out, likes to be a little bit quirky with how he approaches the match. Night Phoenix having that classic Mio trait of being a cat.
True. Not wrong. Night Phoenix is a cat just like Mio Micah. So, Demi is
let's tell who has a stronger claim.
It's pretty neck and neck. It's pretty. The lines are blurred here when it comes to who is and who isn't the most legitimate son or illegitimate son of Mio Micah. So we're here to find out. For the time being, it's going to be a Stargate opener from Night Phoenix. Again, we don't actually get to cast too much Night Phoenix as of late. Same with Demi as well, so this is a treat seeing them both return, making a bit of a comeback here in OC King of the Hill. And Mio Micah is known for a pretty big thing here in every single matchup. Known for his mutas.
Yeah. Known for that muta play. Demi, for a very long time, we knew him to be the muta master in the Southeast Asia / Oceania region. Each region has one, and in our little corner of the globe, it was absolutely Demi.
Oh yeah, Demi. He was the muta king back in the day, and is he still that muta king? That is the question. For now, taking a third base, very awkward third actually from Demi, taking the linear third base out in the open on the low ground. We very rarely see this base taken as a third, so bold move here by Demi, and I wonder as to its purpose. I wonder how aggressive Demi is planning to be with this.
Yeah, obviously that wasn't his first choice of a third base, but now that he has taken it, now that he's committed to it, he's got some options with how he chooses to utilize it. We're keeping our eye on the work accounts here. Demi is still droning a little bit.
Yeah, I was also keeping an eye on the drone count. I was curious if Demi was going to go for a Ling all-in or something like that, and he is amassing some Lings, but the Oracle does dive forward. So far, Queens are in position. We're able to keep up. We're able to get a bit of hull damage as well, and we don't get a single drone.
Yeah, Oracle gets chased away. Which, like you said, it doesn't really accomplish too much here. It does take a little bit of hull damage. It's at least alive. It's going to be able to continue providing more utility as the game goes on, but yeah, that was... So far, this build has not paid for itself for Night Phoenix.
Yeah, so far this opener hasn't gotten any drone damage. You have 2, soon to be 3 Oracles. Again, triple Oracle into a third base. Standard opener here from Night Phoenix, followed by Pretty standard follow-up. Twilight Council and a Forge. It should be for +1 and Blink. Meanwhile, Demi has been droning. Did make a surge of Lings, but outside of that, it has been happily droning and saturating spaces. We have yet to see any big signs of aggression from either player.
Yeah, we're just happily droning up. Night Phoenix getting that Forge, getting that Twilight Council, so he does want to hit a timing eventually, but he's actually being aggressive, moving out with his Adepts as well. His Oracle is actually going to be able to get a decent amount done, potentially. He does lose one of his Oracles, unfortunately, but yeah, he is able to isolate these Queens from the Lings.
And was able to isolate those Queens. The Lings did go down earlier as well. Creep is being denied, but Demi has yet to really lose too much. Only 2 drones going down. Lings are keeping up with the Shades. Oracle did fall earlier, and Demi is holding behind this. We have a Roach Horn on the way to get into Ling Roach production. And again, Night Phoenix was hoping for some more drone kills, but so far we haven't really dealt too much here. Oh.
Yeah, and I feel like if he committed to this attack earlier on, he might have been able to get more done. He will get cleaned up for the most part. 4 Adepts remain. 3 drones go down, but I mean, at least he does get a scout, I guess.
Yeah, but there's no
Oracles though, so
yeah,
not sure how worth it was.
Did lose an Oracle. Does at least have 2 more, so he's going to be able to sustain himself. He does, of course, a Demi back. Behind this, Demi settling into his lair. You have Overlord speed on the way, upgrades, additional gases as well. Looks like Demi is going to be embracing Ling Bane, Roach Ravager. I mean, with all these gases, we could try to tech up even further. We have the option to throw down a Spire or a Hydra Den, but there's the Roach upgrade on the way, so we are investing into Roaches.
Like so. No mutas for now, anyway. As Night Phoenix just going to continue to sneak around, just going to continue to try to keep abreast with the developments, the tech of Demi.
Yeah, the developments of Demi. Makes sense. Yeah. It's all good. As so far we do get a couple of relations off. Demi's massing Roaches. We have Overlord, Dropperlord, on the way for Demi as well. We're doubling down, cutting work at a 3-base saturation. It looks like Demi wants to hit a timing, kind of. This is an odd push here from Demi as he just started 1-1.
Yeah. So potentially not quite the, what's the Indian variant of the Vespa? The tuk-tuk?
I would imagine so. I would imagine so.
Or is that more Thai?
I thought it would be both, but I'm sure Demi could enlighten us later on. For the time being, we're just amassing Roaches. Demi, he's cutting workers at 3 bases, so it's going to be a 3-base all-in at a Demi. We're going for a big Ling drop towards the right-hand side. We're amassing Roaches towards the left. We're trying to keep Night Phoenix busy, and Night Phoenix, for the time being, is not fully aware. We do have side defense at the 3rd, but not at the natural.
Yeah, this is an interesting variant of the drop alert play that we've been seeing pretty recently. It's not quite a way to transfer or transport Queens across the map. It's not going for that straightforward push, but instead go for a little bit of multi-prong, as Demi is demonstrating right now.
And he's gaining ground. He's actually knocking down quite a bit of these Stalkers as well. So Stalkers are falling left and right. We do take some piles to the face. But we can see Demi is still just amassing purely Roaches. We have a 4th base that is just for Larva. He is not droning up. Demi's about to max out, and soon he will pull the trigger.
Yeah, he's looking to. He just needs to wait for this 1 round of Roaches. 1-1 going to be finishing up by the time he does pull that trigger as well. +2 round weapons available here for Night Phoenix, but we'll see if that makes a difference as Demi is maxed, or pretty damn close to maxed.
Yeah, and we pull the trigger at the same time. Night Phoenix going for a counterattack with the Depths, but Lings, they're busting into the main base. We just warped in at the natural, which means no warp-ins left. Lings are going to be busting on through at the same time. Roach Ravager does hit the 3rd.
And these Roaches and Ravagers aren't quite going to be able to bust through, but they don't need to, right? They just need to distract the main army long enough for these Lings to completely wipe out the mineral line. 21 probes have already gone down, and more to come.
Yeah, we're not done as Lings, they bust into the main. Roach Ravager heading towards the 3rd base as well. The shield batteries, they're running out of energy. They're getting knocked down one after the other. The boys being forced to pull away. Bar's going to be connecting. The Stalkers are going down.
That they are Pretty good convex here for Demi. It's not often that we see a convex of roaches, but that's what we saw, and that did work out pretty well until Night Phoenix was able to consolidate the rest of its defenses.
Yeah, we do focus on a lot of these roaches. A nice counterattack here out of Night Phoenix back across the map. Looks like we have run out of lings. The lings were completely cleaned up. We got 24 worker kills in total. But fun fact, Demi was all in, and Night Phoenix still maintains a decent probe count. 54 probes. We did not touch the 4th base. Because of that, economically, Night Phoenix is still keeping up.
That he is. He doesn't lose that much production either, so as the game continues, he can continue to amass a larger and larger army. Demi now scrambling for Plan B as a Hydra den is on the way. I think I saw an infestation pit. Yep, infestation pit finishes up.
Yeah, we do have the hive now on the way at the main base. Now, the problem, as you did mention, is that this tech is late. This tech is very late. Night Beast is about to finish +3. +3 attack is about to complete for the Protoss player. Meanwhile, Demi is still on +1, just now starting +2. So a massive upgrade lead here for Night Beast. As long as we can blink well, we can break through.
Yeah, he does need to be careful about how he trades. He doesn't want to... The last thing he wants to do is run into a concave of roaches and just lose his entire Stalker army, which is very possible. We've seen that in the past. But as long as Night Phoenix is careful, as long as Night Phoenix is good with his blinks, he should be fine.
Yeah, so even force a recall, Stalkers are going to be going down. A couple Stalkers left back on the back line as well. This recall will clean up these roaches though, and we actually don't get that many probe kills.
That we don't. Dropalo goes down as well, so all in all, better trade for Night Phoenix.
Yeah, much better trade there. Night Phoenix holding on. Fleet beacons on the way. That's going to be for Skytals. I believe Demi did scout the fleet beacon, double checking. Yes, he did. And meanwhile, Demi getting ready for Lurker tech. So what's going to hit first, the Skytals or the Hydra Lurker Viper?
Yeah, normally I would say the Hydra Lurker Viper, but once again, that was a very committed push from Demi earlier on, so this isn't the normal build progression. This is a little bit delayed.
Yeah, again, it's still a little bit wonky here for Demi, as Demi is only now amassing Hydras. You have a big Zealot run by on the right-hand side. Demi does have some tight defense lying in wait, ready for it, but is it going to be enough? It looks like it is. Zealots are forced back.
It's actually terrifying. All of these spine crawls, imagine rocking up to all of those.
Yeah, but you know what? We avoid the spine crawls. We get a surround on the main army instead.
Yeah, very strong flank here with those Zealots over here that were previously deflected. Demi, though, still able to produce a lot. Still keeping up very, very well when it comes to the macro and when it comes to the army production.
Yeah, we have Zealots coming from the left, distracting some of the main force. Ooh, Archons are going to be going down, so we do see Night Phoenix has to back off for the time being, is being forced back through the center of the map. Demi is holding.
Yeah, the power of the concave, never underestimated. Night Phoenix, I've just realized, doesn't actually have a robo facility, so no warp prism, no way to really reinforce his army.
Yeah, exactly. That's
making things a lot more. Yeah, that's been making things a lot more difficult for him, making it a lot easier for Demi to just pick off these units as they trickle in.
Yeah, exactly. It just takes that much longer to reinforce and to move out across the map. Demi has now produced his Lurkers. There we go. 8 more Lurkers now on the way for Demi. Lurker tech getting up and running. And when we spoke about the Skytals from Night Phoenix, we do have the Mothership. The Mothership has arrived, but we are actually already activate the Cloak. A little bit premature, but we do not have additional Stargates. No carriers.
Yeah, none of them are arriving. Not yet, anyway. As, yeah, very quirky unit composition coming out from Night Phoenix. Getting that fleet beacon, getting the Mothership, but for the most part still focused entirely on gateway units. I say for the most part, that is exactly what he's doing right now. I mean, he's got 2 oracles.
Yeah.
But come on.
It's mainly a gateway-based army, and here we go. We get Lurker drop into the main base. We do deny the 5th. 5th base does go down, but Night Phoenix needs more damage than that because we are taking control of the natural.
Indeed, we do. Night Phoenix gonna try to take out this 4th base, so that's gonna be a consolation at the very least. Thankfully, he does still have these oracles, otherwise he would have had 0 detection.
Yeah, nice revelations here on the initial lurkers. At the same time, we do see more lurkers pushing through the center. Now we get the Stargates on the way, but these Stargates are a little bit late. They're also exposed. They're here at the 3rd, which means they are prone to being knocked down here if Demi does head in that direction.
And that's to be determined. That's for now. Demi's going to be focusing on taking out the fresh bases. This is a huge surround, though, for Night Phoenix.
Yeah, we come in from multiple angles. Demi not quite prepared for this. The lurkers are dishing out a lot of damage. You see Hydra's coming in to reinforce, and we barely do hold. The lurkers are kept safe and sound, and Demi has broken the 5th.
Hot damn. That's what happens when you use only a single tortilla to wrap a burrito with a lot of meat.
Excuse me.
The meat breaks on through, and that's yeah, what we saw here from Demi. Anyway, Demi now pushing up the ramp, and like you mentioned, these Stargates are super exposed. Night Phoenix going to be heavily reliant on battery overcharge. Actually pops the overcharge a little bit prematurely.
Have you ever wrapped your own burrito?
Not with mincemeat.
Okay. With
Oh
what?
no, wait, have I? No, not with mincemeat. No. That was a taco. I used some mincemeat. Anyway, Cloak is definitely going to help out a ton here, but here come the Overseers. And those Lurkers once again able to dish out so much damage against the entirely Gateway army. GG. Demi going to be taking that game. Going to be crowned the new King of the Hill.
GG, well played. It is confirmed Demi is the illegitimate child of Miyamika, has now been crowned the King of the Hill. GG, well played. Demi with hyper aggression. At times it did seem like Night Phoenix was going to defend, was going to hold, was going to survive the onslaught of Demi, even with some insane surrounds, but in the end Demi did prove to be a little bit too much, and Demi is our King of the Hill.
Indeed, he is. Whew. Man, all of those lurkers. I really thought that he was going to be pushed back in that, with that 360, full 360 surround that Night Phoenix was thrown his way, but it was very clever of Demi to, I guess, first off, realize that he had way more firepower to work with compared to the Gateway army of Night Phoenix, but second off, to also just park his units right on top of his lurkers. Once he realized that there was no splash damage in that Protoss army, just park his units together, keep them condensed, make sure that it could all just be a death ball, essentially.
Exactly.
He was able to break 3. He was able to break out of sandwich.
Yeah, it was a really nice,
if you will.
It's a really nice engagement there from Demi, as you mentioned. You know, sometimes when you have too much meat, you need that second layer, the second tortilla, to be able to, you know, secure yourself, and to secure your meat. Remember to secure your meat.
Always wrap your meat.
There you go.
As they say.
As we have our next opponent, we have our next challenger here. So Demi's our King of the Hill, and who comes up next to face him down? It is going to be another ZVZ. Demi versus Mixu.
This is going to be an interesting one. Okay, so another ZVZ, as you mentioned. Mixu, also a very different type of player compared to, I don't know why I'm bringing up Iba. I mean, Demi didn't play Iba, but Mixu, a bit of also his own type of Zerg player, also a very unique player, not quite like Iba or Mio or Demi, but he is practice partners with Miyamika.
Yeah.
So we'll see if he's been able to, through osmosis, gleam onto a little bit of that royal claim.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those things where Mixed, you know, he has a right to the throne as well, like both Demi and Night Phoenix, and he is here to claim that crown. Demi's our current King of the Hill, but Mixu is going to pose a threat here, as you mentioned. Is, I would say, a little bit more in form, has been competing and has been practicing, has been improving over the past couple of months. I want to give the edge to Mixu, but Demi, he can surprise us. I mean, already did kind of flex, or did kind of flash a little bit in that last game, you know, with his drop play. It was quite fancy. I did appreciate it.
Yeah. Just delight to the senses, specifically the sense of sight.
There you go.
So I was able to witness that, and it's going to be interesting to see what we witness here in a ZVZ compared to a ZVP, specifically from the side of Demi. We didn't see Mutas in game number 1, but maybe now in a ZVZ?
I mean, this is not a bad map for that kind of play here. We're going to be loading into Side Delta. Side Delta known for its 2-base play, potentially 2-base Muta as well. We'll see.
Yeah. Keep our eyes on the sky as we load into Site Delta. Way over here in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way in the bottom right. We, of course, have our blue Zerg player coming out from the land of Finland. He is, of course, going to be representing his team Berserker Esports. Well, we have Mixu.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the red Zerg player. The red Zerg representing Matcherino Esports from the land of India. Ooh, as looks like we had a bit of a spike there. Hopefully everything is okay.
Yeah, heads up, I might have to... Yeah, I think I'm going to have to leave.
Okay, oh, good.
I think it was at 1200 for a second.
Oh, aye. But we have, in the top left-hand corner, Demi, our card king of the hill. Good, and Yako, you can join me for the next game. I don't know if I can rely on my share screen. Oh, actually, you know what?
No?
I'll try. We'll see what happens.
Indeed we shall.
There we go. For the time being, as you mentioned, we're diving into our ZVZ, and everything is looking normal. It's going to be a hatch gas pool opener by both Demi and Mixu to kick things off. But because of certain features of this map, there's a reason why we have seen more 2-base play on Side Delta than some of these other maps.
Yeah, and aside from Motionborn, if your name happens to be Solar, yeah. Side Delta, generally, the more 2-base favorite map, or rather the map that does attract a lot more 2-base builds.
Yeah, the reason for that is because the ramp, there's a ramp coming into the natural, which means this ramp or this natural base is that much more secure, so walling off and defending this ramp, it can be a little bit easier than it can be on some of these other maps. Not saying that it has to be 2-base play, but we'll keep an eye out for that. We'll keep an eye out for our 3rd-base timing and whether or not we expand.
But hold on, you might be wondering, if the ramp makes it that much more secure, then why do we still see 2-base aggression?
Yeah. Well,
That's what I'm wondering.
Well, 2-base play is not 2-base all-ins. It's 2-base play to be safe on 2 bases. Then you can take your gases, fast lair, into mutas, into just skipping Ling Bane. There are some players, and I don't blame them, that just want to skip Ling Bane and just rush into roaches instead, which is viable. It's viable.
It is viable. It's definitely quite common to see. It's definitely quite common to see the player to hold up a little bit longer on 2 bases, to delay that 3rd base, to be a little bit of an earlier aggressor, send out lings, usually lings, sometimes roaches, to try to delay their opponent's 3rd for as long as possible while they get their own 3rd base up and running. So it's 2 bases in the early game until you can build up enough of an army to get map control, not necessarily to go all in, but just to take control of the map, delay your opponent's expansion, and then you're safe enough to expand.
Yep, and there it is. So it's going to be 2-base roach here from Demi, as we were saying. Again, that's why it's so popular on this map, just because it's a little bit more secure. Ooh, +1 carapace on the way for Demi as well, so this could be the beginnings of an all-in. Meanwhile, Mixu is going for a standard game. He's going for a 3rd base because he scattered the 2-base wall off. He skips his Bailey Nest, so no Bailey Nest. We're going into roaches instead. So Mixu rushing into roaches. Demi working towards an all-in, and he is hiding his lings in the back line. Up.
Yeah, very smart. That's a lot of links from Mixu, though, starting to break through the queen body. So Demi is forced to reveal his hand. He is forced to send everything he's got across the map. Makes another round of lings, and he is sending it.
Yeah, Demi, as you mentioned, this is premature. Now I like this. He's droning. So he reveals his lings, and now he's droning up. He does hit the 3rd base, and can he get a kill? Can he snipe the 3rd?
Now he's going to need to, as he works on third base of his own back home. Ling's getting surrounded by Lings. Queen's going to provide a little bit of additional support, but it looks like Demi is going to get chased back.
Yeah, Demi is forced back behind this. He's getting his own third base up and running, is droning up. Again, this +1 carapace timing can be a very strong one, but it takes some time to really get into that, so Demi just has to buy his time a little bit longer, and Mixu is able to preserve his third base and get into his own roaches that much faster.
Alright, so now it's time for the counterattack.
Some of the counter aggression here as the roaches are revealed to the overlords of Demi. Demi does spot them ahead of time. Now you can see that really Mixu is faking a push because Mixu is droning. He's droning up. He just now starts up +1 range. Mixu is forcing Demi to respond with mass roach, and you can see Mixu has a massive worker lead.
So yeah, Mixu shouldn't be committed to this. I mean, he's going to send a couple of roaches into the choke point, but like you said, he's faking aggression. He's faking a commitment here. He's giving these roaches on the other side of the map, but he's not actually going to try to dive too deep. He is going to make sure that he actively avoids overextending.
Yeah, and he's trying to, but you can see that Demi does get a surround. A nice surround here. Demi does catch these roaches, and Demi is not faking it. Demi, he is committing to his all-in. +1 carapace is done. Demi is sending everything across the map, and has Mixu been too greedy? Mixu drone up to 51.
I should say so, yeah. Looking at the RE supply differences, trying to get a spine caller up in this third base, but it's gonna fall before it even pops.
Yeah, exactly. When Demi does something, he does it right here as he does send everything across the map. The third base is compromised, but we're pushing into the natural. We're going for the kill.
Just like so. Demi gonna get us around. Mixu forced to pull a voice,
yeah,
but even that's not gonna be enough here.
I mean, we can't afford to lose some drones. Nice hold position micro here on those drones as well, but Lings, they come in to reinforce. We're breaking through the defensive line. We're getting on top of the Queen. We're getting on top of these roaches, and it looks like Demi, he has too much. GG gets called, and Demi will take down another opponent and remain our King of the Hill.
Once again, gonna secure his reign here, at least for another match. I'm really glad you pointed it out in the middle of that counter push, shall we call it? But basically, Mixu was faking aggression, but Demi wasn't. Demi was the real thing.
Yeah. That's the ebb and flow of ZVZ. Honestly, a lot of ZVZ is about that. Is about like kind of faking or committing and trying to fake out your opponent or catch your opponent off guard. There's a lot of this back and forth that goes on, and it can be hard to get away with something like that. It was really risky of Mixu to drone off the way that he was, but he was hoping that Demi was also going to be droning as well. Demi wasn't.
That he was not. It's ruthless, but sometimes that's what you need to be king. As we already have a challenger waiting here.
Oh, we do have a challenger here, so we're going to be taking a bit of a break from the ZVZ, and we're going back to another ZVP instead. You can see it before you. It is Mixu's teammate, Bappy. Let's go.
Bappy?
Oh my god.
I'll see you then.
Yeah, I mean, Bappy, I haven't seen him compete in OSC King of the Hill before. Maybe he has, and maybe we missed it. You know, there were a couple of weeks where we were not covering this tournament, and Awardy was instead, or some of the other casters. But yeah, Bappy making his debut or his return in quite some time, and yeah, I'm excited for this. I'm ready to see some Bappy on Demi action.
Yeah, some good old PVZ here. So just figuring out a vetoes for, well, veto. You only get one in this interesting format, and we kind of glossed over it at the start, but yeah, it's a very interesting format that we have here in OSC King of the Hill. Obviously, it is a best of one. Our challenger will be the player picking a map, but our defender will be able to have at least one veto available. But what's important to note here is that we're not just working with the current map pool. we're working with the OSC King of the Hill map pool.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we have an extended map pool, so we have the ladder maps, but we also have some older maps as well, like Ancient Cistern, Death Aura, and Nightshade as well. We haven't seen them yet, but they're definitely going to be available for us in the upcoming games, as it looks like we have our veto, we have our map of choice. We're jumping into our next game.
Indeed, we are Golden Aura. It's going to be the next battleground. Which is fitting, yeah. It's not quite a hilly map. Not a lot of high ground, but it's got a lot of gold. It's got a gold base, as a matter of fact.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Here we go.
Yeah.
As we have our PVZ ready for us. Ah, shit, map happy as we are jumping into Golden Aura as our map of choice. We don't really know what quite Demi did veto, but Papi has been impressing us as of late. I don't know if you've seen much of Papi, Yaku, but he has been getting better and better, climbing the ranks when it comes to the Polish Protoss scene, has even looked pretty competitive against a laser at times in these Polish regional tournaments.
Yeah, go to the left spot. We did see last week, Papi had a very improved a lot, had a much better performance, but we're going to see what he can get up to here when he's up against the King. And we're over here in Golden Aura, over in the bottom right-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom right, who of course are our red Protoss player coming out from the land of Poland. He is part of the Polish Protoss Posse. And he is, of course, going to be representing his team, Berserker Esports. We have Papi.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the Indian Zerg player, the blue Zerg representing Maturino Esports with 2 wins under his belt. Our current king of the hill, it is Demi.
Took down a Protoss player, took down a Zerg player, and now up against another Protoss player.
And now he's up against Papi. Has so far avoided the Terrans, but I'm sure we'll be embracing some Terran action later on down the line. We already had Nick Racked. We've had Special, aka Juanito, compete in these in the past. We've seen Spirit, we've seen Bjorn, we've seen Battle B. So we'll keep an eye out for any would-be Terran players, Terran challengers. For now, just the PVZ.
Just a PVZ, and one that I imagine should be a lot more normal compared to what we saw from Night Phoenix.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if we see at least a standard start. Now, there has been a build that has been permeating throughout the Polish scene and the Polish community in a very Immortal Archon heavy composition instead of Blink Stalkers, so we'll keep an eye out for that. Christiana has been very successful with it. It's how Christiana became our champion. We had the House Galactic battle over the weekend, and Christiana, he took down a laser, he took down Geralt, he took down everyone before him with this kind of really Death Ball heavy Archon Immortal composition instead of your typical Blink Stalker.
Yeah. A little bit less mobile, but a lot more beefy. Definitely something that, in PvZ specifically, can stack up a lot better against the Lurkers, which are becoming a lot more common from Zerg.
Yeah, exactly.
On the one hand, I feel for Protoss players. On the other hand, now you get to feel what it's like.
Oh, the B.
To deal with Lunkers.
Say that's like the Protoss Lunker? Is that
the Lurker? Yeah. The Lurker's the Protoss. Yeah, the Lurker.
There you go. So,
the Lunker for Terran, and now the Lunker for Protoss, apparently.
So we'll see if Fabi does embrace that or not. Until then, though, we do see Demi just getting to his own standard opener. Just going to be a hatch gas pool into a third base is droning up, and oh, we are not opening up Stargate.
No, we are not. That is the Twilight Council on the horizon. We're going to be keeping our eyes on the production tab. That's a robo facility or prison.
Yeah, so this could be a couple of different things here. We pulled out. Okay, Glaives. It's going to be Glaive Adepts for Papi, as we have pulled 1 and 1 out of the gas guys, so we have 2 and 2 instead. If we were going for DTs, we would stay in the gas. Overlord goes in for the scout, and Demi does confirm everything in the main, as actually we're pulling back into the gases. Never mind, so we'll see what Papi's cooking.
Yeah, that we shall. So far, he doesn't actually have that many gateways. 2 more on the horizon, so 3 more on the horizon. So still committed to Glaives. And with 5 gateways total. No, 6 gateways total.
Yeah, I was going to say
this is going to be a very good committed glaive timing. I can't count.
It... It's okay, Yaku, it's okay. So what I was going to say is that if we say 2 and 2, there should be 4 gate glaive adepts, but because we went up to 3 and 3 and 6 in total, 6 gates. Now we can afford 6 gates instead. This is much more committed, as you mentioned. This is borderline 2 base all in from Papi.
And Demi's going to have the tools to respond to this as well. 5 roaches already on the way. Roach run finished up a while ago. Couple of adepts do dip in and do try to get something done here before Glaives finishes up, but they do get just immediately deflected.
Yeah, they are deflected, at least to begin with. Glaives is still not quite done, still on the way. Papi is going to be committing. Here we go. The Prism has arrived, warping in 6 adepts at a time. That's a lot of adepts here that Papi has to work with. And we'll see if Demi can keep up. Thankfully, he has not been droning. He cut workers at 40. He's amassing roaches and links. He has the tools to defend, but it's all about the execution.
Yeah, he's got the tools, but will he hammer him?
Yeah,
will he build?
Can he build? Can he hammer this home as Lings do engage already? A lot of Lings going to be shaved off by the Adepts. That is a little bit dangerous. A lot of Lings are being thinned away as Papi does threaten a shade, does commit.
Does commit and almost gets surrounded, but unfortunately there's just not quite enough Lings here for that wrap. A lot of drones starting to fall.
Yeah, a lot of workers going down. We had Adepts already wreaking havoc here at the Natural Base. That's 14 workers going down at the same time. It looks like we did end up losing some probes here at the Natural. 7 probes did fall, but the Adepts are still getting out of hand. Roaches are barely keeping up as we shade towards the 3rd.
Yeah, I think it was the Ling run by or something earlier on. But, yeah, now the damage has already been dealt to Demi. A little bit too much here. If he doesn't take any more drone damage, and he's able to kill all of these Adepts, and I think Demi should be fine. But that's a lot easier said than done.
Yeah, and that's a kill on the 3rd base. Demi knocked down to 2 hatcheries. He's down to 1 base saturation. 20 drones is all that Demi has left. No saturation at the gas either, and the Adepts are still alive. They're still kicking. They're still looking for more damage.
And they're gonna find it one way or another. Papi is committed. Demi gonna be tapping out. GG is called, and Papi will be our new king of the hill.
GG, well played. Papi does take it again. He did a game-ending damage by crippling the economy, by killing the hatchery as well. Demi again was not able to keep up. He was a little bit premature early on, bleeding out a lot of Lings in the first attack. Because of that, he could not keep up with the Adepts, and very quickly, Papi escalated out of control.
So things were going really well for Demi until they weren't. As you mentioned, I mean, that run by to take out those probes, I think was, again, on paper, something that was a good move, but at the same time also kind of felt like he was poking the bear a little bit. Demi also, with that run by, didn't have enough back at home to be able to defend, to be able to keep up with all these shades. I mean, he had a lot of roaches. And those roaches would absolutely win a fight against these Adepts, but they were slow roaches. They weren't quite able to keep up with all of these shades, and once Papi was able to get a couple of drones, that just kept snowballing. He never stopped killing drones once he first started killing them.
Yeah, again, Demi just wasn't able to keep up with the movement of those Adepts, and with that, Papi is now our king of the hill, and we are getting ready for our next matchup. We have been avoiding the PvPs for quite some time, but we could only avoid it for so long, because now they have begun. Up next is Hydra.
Oh. Hydra.
Yes, yes.
It's not HY. It's
Yeah.
Hi for anybody wondering back at home.
Not to be confused with Hydra. It's Hydra.
Yeah, with a
Yeah.
Y.
Yeah. There you go. But this is our
This
Protoss
is,
player from the
I mean,
Netherlands.
it's fitting because Hydra.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that's why you were pointing it out. Yeah. I was like, oh,
Keep going up.
that's so
Yeah,
smart.
exactly. Well, no, it's yeah. Well, no, also it's just can't get confusing.
Yes, not the Zerg player, but the Protoss player here in Hydra. The PvP is going to be coming up next for Papi, and because of the PvP, anything could happen here. I mean, of course, I want to favor Papi, our current king of the hill, but we have seen Hydra take it here in the PvPs in the past. He has brought down some big names before. He can do it again, especially in a best of one.
Oh yeah, one is all it takes. One is all it takes to slay the king.
One is all.
Two is, however, what it's going to take to secure yourself as new king.
Yes, we are just currently looking for our next opponent. And once we have him, we'll be able to jump back in. But again, we have plenty of players available and lined up to compete as well. We have our eyes on some of them. And in case we do ever run out of players, we can always try to revive some and have some of them come back in for a second chance and a second shot. It doesn't happen too often, but if we need to, we can do that as well.
Yeah. It has been known to happen. You know, Eddie, he is a practitioner of the black arts, the black magic. He does know how to resurrect people from the dead.
Yeah, he can go all Palpatine on us and, you know, bring someone back.
Yeah.
Or at least he says he can.
Is that what Palpatine does? Not 100% on the lore there.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. We don't have to talk about the prequels.
Thinking more of Kibern. Or Kyburn, I guess. I pronounce it Kibern because I'm normal.
Okay. Now, one of these days I need to go back and have you... I imagine you have. Have you played KOTOR, the KOTOR games?
I actually haven't.
You haven't? Hey. I think you'd enjoy them.
I don't think I have.
I think you'd enjoy them.
Probably. I know there are two.
Yeah. It's two. And then I guess there's the MMO, but we don't have to... We don't have to talk about
we
it.
know. SWOTOR.
Yeah.
Oh. Like I already can't commit to one MMO.
True. When are you
So I
coming
might
back?
as well not commit to. So I might as well not commit to two.
One of these days we'll play Final Fantasy again. One of these days.
One of these days.
But yeah, it looks like we might have a small break here, just looking for our opponents. It was going to be Hydra coming up next, but they might be unavailable.
They might be. I see a barcode in the in-game channel.
Okay. Never mind.
Oh, never mind. Never mind.
So
Never mind.
Might need a little bit of time here. I do see in the chat War Buffle. Is that the real War Buffle or?
Oh, we could bring him in.
No, why would I do that?
Yeah, that's War Buff too.
No, that's not gonna happen, Yaku.
Because we need an opponent. Oh, there he is. Hydra's here.
Yeah, we're good. We got it.
Oh, it's Papi. Oh, there he is. Okay. Oh, yeah, War Buff 2.
Shaking my head. He's like an Overwatch boy nowadays, right?
He is a spreadsheet boy nowadays.
Spreadsheet boy? He spreadsheets in Overwatch?
Question mark?
Shaking.
Real life, man. It's, coming in the way of esports.
Yeah, good to see you, well, Buffalo. Good to see you again. Kind of an older school regular in the chats, or even just friend, older school friend from the chat back in the Sonic Aftermath days.
Yeah, back in the Psyduck era, if you will.
True. God, I almost forgot
I think
that.
we were denied. Yeah. I think we were denied the Psyduck finals at one point
Unfortunately.
in a team league.
Good times. As we are settling in, we have our player finally, and we have our PvP.
Indeed we do, as we're going to be loading now into Oceanborn. Over here in the top left-hand corner map, starting all the way. In the top left, we of course have our Kingslayer, now looking to secure his own. Throne. He is going to be spawning over here in the top left-hand corner of the map, our red Protoss player, part of the Polish Protoss Bossy. He is Papi for Berserker Express.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the blue Protoss player from the land of the Netherlands. Our challenger, our would-be usurper, it is Hydra.
And once again, that's... Oh, actually, I don't have to point it out. They can... Yeah, our viewers can read. I was gonna say, once again, it's not Hydra with a Y. And then I realized that just because I can't read, I can read. And so therefore our viewers can read as well.
There you go. As we settle into this best of one, a big shout out to SC2 Fool in the chat. Hi, Miss Sausage to you too as well, my good sir. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session. Welcome everyone to OSC King of the Hill. This is your weekly King of the Hill style tournament where it's purely best of ones, and we have 15 players. 15 players, they all step up one after the other. The winner stays on. The loser is eliminated.
Yeah, 15 players total. So far we've gone through... How many have we gone through?
Say like 8? I think we're like halfway through. Just over halfway through.
Yeah, that was fast.
Yeah.
Pretty fast night, but I guess that's what happens when we have a bunch of ZBZs.
Especially
ZBZs featuring Mio, Micah, and Demi.
We had some fast games. we had a lot of fast games.
We did.
You're not wrong, Papi, you're not wrong. But here we go, we're selling into our PvP. So far, we are mirroring each other. We spoke about this before, but because of the new patch, because of the new balance change to the Sentry, the Stalker Sentry openers have become much more common in standard openers in PvP.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for the one player to whip out a Sentry all-in. But for now, I'm content with the safer openings that we're getting here, where... it's not so much of a high-octane beginning. It's not so much of, which player is quicker and which player has faster reaction times, which player has better control with a unit like an Adept.
Yeah, exactly. So we have kind of taken away some of the more aggressive nature of early game PvP, at least some of it, not all of it by any means. You can still be quite cheesy. Speaking of, we do have our openers. Both players are expanding, both players are taking their natural bases. Hallucination scouts are coming in, and we even have very similar tech options as well.
Yeah, Hydra may be from the Netherlands, but it's got a little bit of that Polish Protoss in him.
Yeah, there you go. As we do confirm Hallucination diving in, and we do get eyes on the Robo opener of Papi. Likewise, Papi also confirms the Robo opener of Hydra.
Yeah, Phoenixes or Haluked Phoenixes gonna miss each other. But they will get a full scout, and it looks like we see our first major deviation. Papi opting for a Warp Prism first, whereas Hydra will be doing normal stuff and going for that Twilight Council first.
Interesting. Still going for the Prism, but a little bit later. As you mentioned, we did prioritize the Twilight Council into, I imagine, Blink. Meanwhile, Papi looking to be a little bit more assertive, a little bit more aggressive. Now, with this early Prism, we can go for some Adept harass. Specifically, Adepts, we talk about how, you have to be careful about, throwing down the pylon and then denying shades. You can avoid the pylon, you can avoid this wall by just dropping right into the mineral line.
Yeah, the struggle. Forehead. As the Warp Prism does get scouted by Haluked Phoenix, so Hydra should be able to work back at home, should be able to gather defenses and fortify himself much, much better.
Exactly, so Hydra sees everything, Papi does not. The Prism moves out and Papi is in the dark. His hallucinations across the map. He does confirm the follow-up, does confirm the blink, but Papi is at least leaving some units back at home. Okay, he is in position to defend.
Yeah, only going to be 2 Adepts for the time being. Stalker's not quite keeping up with the shades. Probes will get a full surround, and thankfully for Papi, he does have sentries nearby. We'll make short work. We'll make short work of those adepts. Only 2 probes go down.
Yeah, you can't. There's nothing you can't do without a couple of sentries in PvP. True. You know, you reminded me earlier when you were talking about like sentry all in. That if we saw like Crank doing like viewer like strategies like he used to in a PvP, mass sentry is now much more viable. Like unironically.
Yeah.
If he had to, could do it.
He had to. YouTubers out there. That's the next challenge.
There you go.
That's the next challenge we're gonna throw down. Mark, get on that.
Get on it, Mark. You know you want to. As for now, Hydra is establishing his 3rd, so is his opponent. Did pick off a couple of workers here or there. Papi does have a slight worker lead, as he was able to snipe 2 probes across the map, but only a slight lead here, as for the most part we are keeping up with each other and we're entering the mid game. It's been a pretty passive PvP so far, just harassing with a couple of adepts here and there.
Yeah, I mean, we do have that harass, but just because of the sheer amount of scouting information and the sheer amount of vision that our players have gotten, they were mostly able to take him out before they really got out of hand. You know, once again, that's the power of the sentry. It's not just an attacking unit. It also has halukes. It can also scout. It can throw out force fields, guardian shield down the line to protect the rest of your units. Come on. How is it not the best unit in the game?
They shoot up and they shoot down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What other unit can do that?
It's like a Protoss Marine.
It's like a Marine. Exactly. Roomba with lasers.
There you
That's
go.
the next evolution of man with gun.
Back in the day, sentries, they would just tickle units, but not anymore. They tickle them to death now. Crazy.
Yeah. They still tickle units just to death.
Yeah. As if they do get dropped into the mineral line, they do deny some mining time, but don't get much else. We try to shade into the main, but we do get a full wall off, and Papi is going to get shut down. Hydra does defend. And along the lines of what you were saying, basically the entire game, and if you notice, I mean, we have been catching it here and there, but we've been seeing some non-stop hallucination scouts. Just time and time again, hallucinations sent out by both players, just keeping tabs on each other. It does make it that much more difficult to try to hide tech or go for an all-in, which is why both players are settling into their 3 bases. We're saturating our bases and building up our death ball of armies. We have Immortal Gateway here for Papi. We have Immortal Gateway here for Hydra. Charges on the way for both players. We do see Papi is investing into Archons though, and I believe Hydra has yet to do so.
Yeah, that he has not. Papi also went for a massive gateway explosion now that the 3rd base has been saturated, so he's going to be a little bit vulnerable as Hydra pushes out here. Papi also going for a 4th base, which again is the perfect timing right now for Hydra to push in.
Yeah, again, Hydra, this is going to be a strong timing. Charge about to finish up +1, about to finish up here for Papi, but Hydra already has that upgrade. He's looking to dive on in, he's looking to commit.
And he is looking to charge straight on through. Battery overcharge does get popped, but we do have a blink on forward. We will be taking it out. Archon will finish, but that's a little bit too late here for Papi as Hydra. He's got these Immortals in the back line. He's got the rest of the charges over here. The entire army of Papi just melts.
Yeah, Hydra,
and the blink of those stalkers.
He just chewed through that entire army. That was an insane timing just before Papi could get into his own production, just before he could get into his own Archons. GG, and Hydra takes the game, is our new king of the hill. Whew.
Just like that. That is how brutal being at the top here is. Only takes one to get you tumbling back down. GG. Very nicely done there by Hydra. Very restraint game for the most part, as both players were just building up back at home, playing pretty passive and just keeping tabs on each other with hallucinations. But after a certain point, I guess Hydra realized, I have a strong army, I'm gonna push, and I'm not sure if he was able to get eyes on that gateway explosion or on that 4th base, but I think he did scout the 3rd base of Papi, and with that kind of notice, hang on a minute, your army's looking a little bit thin, especially compared to mine. Oh, he was able to put 2 and 2 together and think, oh, that's because you're transitioning right now. This is when I'm strongest against you. My +1 just finished up. Charge is about to finish up as well. So I'm just going to go for this push. And Yeah, it worked out brilliantly.
Yeah. Hydra, he just went for the kill, as you mentioned. Papi was investing elsewhere into tech, into production, into his economy, and was caught with his pants down. That was a very crisp timing. If we had waited any longer, then it would have been the opposite. It would have been Papi getting out of control because, again, Hydra wasn't really thinking further ahead. So, yeah, that was a very tight game out of Hydra. Did take it in the end, and now we are heading over to the land of the Americas.
Whew. I don't have to worry about visas.
There you go.
And ping.
It's all good. As we have our next opponent. It's been a while, but we have a Terran opponent here. An opponent that I'm sure you can hazard a guess at. He's a regular on the channel, a fan favorite. He is a bit of a Korean Terran, but he's living somewhere else.
Yeah, it's Spirit.
Who
Who is in the in-game chat. Now, I'm sure we'll be seeing Spirit eventually, but I get what you're saying. I get what you're throwing down.
Mhm.
We're about to see the most honorable
of
honorables.
There you go. Hung Mono himself is lined up to be our next challenger here, and we'll see if he can rise to that challenge. Again, Hon Mono, he is an animal. He's a beast, especially in the TVP matchup, as he is allergic to expanding. He does it every now. There's like once in a blue moon, like once a month sort of thing, like once every now and then we do see a more macro game out of Homono in TVP, but it's really against his nature.
Yeah, during like the full moon, when the new moon question mark, when the beast within him is weakest.
Yeah, when Jacob comes
when
out.
He has full control. Yeah.
And
when the Tyler, that was their name.
Tyler? Oh, true. He's like the new Jacob.
Yeah.
We don't have to. we don't have to follow this.
We don't have to elaborate. We don't have to elaborate.
We don't have to.
Everybody knows what we're talking about.
Everyone knows what we're talking about.
We don't have to elaborate.
It's fine. God. As we are jumping into this, we have our map of choice. It's going to be Oceanborn coming up next.
A very common map, very popular map that we're seeing, which once again makes sense.
There you go.
When you're seeing in high altitude, you want to decompress a little bit. You want to go to the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, there you go. That's what you do when you go flying.
Sea level. Yeah.
There you go. Also, I love this comment in the chat. This further proves the fact that sentries are the most powerful unit in SE2.
Yeah. What other unit in the game gives you scouting information, defense, body CC, crowd control, shoots up and down, That's Oracle
crazy.
Only shoots down.
Yeah.
It's got the crowd control. It's got the scouting. Only shoots down.
Yeah. What's an Oracle gonna do?
Got the crowd control. Can technically scout, I guess. Only shoots up.
Only shoots up.
Only shoots up.
You know, Viking can lift and land, but it can only do one at a time.
Yeah.
Can't do both.
Can't do both. And it doesn't have a CC.
Doesn't.
Anyway, here we are going to be continuing our journey, our history here on Oceanborn, where we're in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way in the bottom right. We have our Teal Terran player coming down from the land of Japan, but of course representing his hometown of Korea, as well as his team Hyper One. He's doing this for all you waifus out there. We have Hon Mono.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have our current king of the hill. We have our blue Protoss player from the land of the Netherlands. With one win under his belt, can he survive the aggression of his opponent? Or the most honorable of honorables, it is Hydra.
And you know Vipers? They got the CC. They got the scouting. They don't even shoot.
They don't even shoot. Trash unit.
What even is the point of them?
Oh my god.
Only a clown makes vipers.
The propaganda is real. Oh my god, as we do delay the CC, Honmono throwing a CC down off towards the left-hand side of the field here. Pretty far away even to lift and land as well. This is a wild position for the CC.
That's not a mining CC.
No. That's a planetary.
Oh. Yeah, it's a wall.
There you go. Already a crazy start here. Honmono throwing down a CC a very far off location. I wonder if he knows that it's off center.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to tell, right?
Yes, it is. Yeah, yeah. You have to like squint a little bit.
Yeah.
I think it's off center. He knows better though. I think Honmono knows better.
Yeah, it is. I think it is. Yeah, I think Honmono will probably be able to catch on to this.
Yeah, okay. Ooh, as Zealot does
Hopefully he does.
Oh, no, my god, we don't. Oh. I think the Zealot did a double take. I think he didn't realize what he just walked past. He's like, wait, what? Where's the CC? What's going on? Does turn back around. We'll delay it for a moment, but Honmono will get it back up and running. Does have the high ground.
Does have the high ground, but doesn't have any real defenses here. Already two SCVs going to go down a third as well. So, I mean, nice kiting. Nice dance back and forth with the Marines here from Honmono. Will be able to finish up his CC, which thankfully he does realize it's a little bit off center.
Yeah.
He does float, and he will be readjusting that.
Yeah, just a little bit.
But now we have two stalkers. So.
We do have two stalkers. We have control of the low ground. We do push forward. The Marines did hide. You know what this means? We're getting ready for a surround. We're getting ready to flank the army. We do come in from left-hand side. And nice stutter stepping as well. It looks like one stalker should be going down.
Like so. And with only one stalker remaining here for Hydra, yeah, chipping away and trying to maintain map control is going to be a little bit difficult. It's going to be especially difficult when your Terran opponent's going for a 2-on-1.
Interesting. So a 2-on-1 build here by Honmono. We're going to be rushing into Stim as our upgrade of choice into a medevac drop. Meanwhile, Hydra opened up Robo. Very important that we point this out. It was a Robo open out of Hydra into a fast Bay, into fast Colossus production. If he was up against a 3-Rax, this would be ideal as the Colossus will come out just in time to shut down the Bio army. Regardless, a very defensive style here by Hydra. I do like this against Honmono specifically.
When you're up against a player as aggressive as Honmono, a player who is known for going for quirky marine timings, often with not that much backup, not that many tanks and whatnot, Colossus can absolutely shred and will be able to keep you alive for longer. That said, it is giving up map control a little bit.
It is, 100%. You know, that's why this build of choice for the Protoss player is more defendable. It's more of a defensive build. I'm going for a safety immortal first. That does delay the first Colossus, but it's because we just want a unit. We just want a unit early on, just in case something were to move out across the map. So we have an immortal Colossus now on the way, soon to be for a third base. Meanwhile, Stim is about to finish, and Honmono is coming in with his 2-on-1.
Yeah, that's 2 medevacs full of units. 8 each, 16 total. In case you were wondering. Quick math.
Yaku can do math.
Fact.
Yeah.
Proven.
Didn't doubt you.
Yeah.
A little bit of doubt.
Well, I mean, you have to have a little bit of doubt.
It's okay. We got there.
A little bit of doubt is healthy.
Anyway,
2 medevacs going to drop straight into the main base.
We dive into the main base, going for the Forge. Interesting choice here. Colossus is out in time. We can focus down the upgrade. The Colossus is going to be pinned back, and can we even get even more damage? We're going for the pylon.
We're going for the pylon, but thankfully for Hydra, he does have a backup pylon. He is supply blocked a little bit, and he's going to lose another pylon.
Another pylon goes down because of this wall of the Colossus cannot go down to the third base, has to go the long way around instead. The Symphony working against Hydra, and we do deny those upgrades. We have Vikings on the way. Honmono still has preserved his army. Gonna be keep on pushing. He's gonna commit.
Yeah, there's not that much of a buffer. The sentry will go down. And it's Colossus doing so well against the Marines, but will go down to the Vikings. We, unfortunately for Honmono, don't have much of an army remaining, though. I mean, we have these Vikings, but if he tries to land them, this Immortal's just going to have a field day. It's going to be eaten well.
Exactly. Homeowner forced back. Going to be bleeding out a Viking in the retreat as well. Hydra does at least preserve his base. His upgrade was denied. If you remember, Forge was shut down, and I believe the Forge has not been rebuilt, but we are stabilizing. We're stabilizing on 3 bases. Homeowner back at home, throwing down a 3rd CC. It is that time here. The moon is full. We are expanding.
Ooh.
Let's go.
Awakened inside of him.
Yeah. Homeowner doing his base Tyler impression. Beautiful. He's not there yet, though.
His based?
Huh?
His base? Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
Okay. You get me.
Yeah, I see what you... Yeah. Reference.
Yeah. He's a werewolf.
Yeah, overall. Yeah. The base. Anyway, yeah, overall, I do think that it was a better trade for Honmono, but that's in a vacuum, right? That's was a better trade, but Hydra already still had that 3rd, I almost said 3rd CC, that 3rd Nexus. He didn't take any probe damage whatsoever, so mostly he, got his Colossus count reset, which is never nice. He got his Forges taken out, and he got supply blocks, but economically speaking, he has more than enough mining to recoup those losses.
Yeah, Hydra's still on 3 bases, as you mentioned, but Homeowner now catching up and also claiming his 3rd base as well. A terrifying thought here for the Terran player to be on an even base count with the Protoss, which is something you don't want to see as a Protoss player. Double drop is spotted by the Stalker, thankfully, so Hydra is aware of the double drop. He's going to be able to keep up, going to be able to maintain his position here, will defend his 3rd, and Homeowner is building up even further, going for an armory, working towards +2.
Yeah, and we do see the Terran arsenal fully coming down. 5 Araxes with plenty of reactors behind them. We already have... Actually, we're going double factory, I just realized?
Yeah. Getting up to double factory.
Okay.
We got a mass amount of tanks already here being set up. We do manage to siege up in time. The army is pushing forward towards that 3rd base, and can we defend those tanks?
It looks like we can. We have a lot of Haluked Archons here. I really have to point out, Taz, the Vikings will be able to take out 1 Colossus. The tank's still standing strong in the back line. A lot of Marines go down, but Marines are expendable.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, because that double factory production, the tank count was insane. Pushing into these tanks was not possible. Homeowner did siege up just in time and does defend. As you mentioned, Hydra bleeding out a Colossus was brutal. He just has never been able to build up that Colossus count. Just now getting back up to 2. Is at least taking a 4th base, but this 4th, it does feel late.
Yeah, it definitely does. Well, I'm not sure if it feels late or if it feels little. But it's definitely one of those things. Ideally, in this position as a Protoss player, you would have either delayed your 3rd of your Terran opponent, or you at the very least, take out some of their high-tech units, maybe reset the tank count, keep you a little bit safer to expand and get this 4th base, but we're seeing Hydra go up to 4 bases in a much more precarious position.
Exactly. It does feel like Hydra is playing catch-up more so than anything, and Honmono is looking a lot more comfortable, still fixating on tank production as well, still making 2 at a time. Honmono focusing on just amassing a death bull of an army, and again, thankfully, he has been able to keep that Colossus count quite low as Disruptors are now on the way.
I had to do a double take when you said that Honmono was still producing 2 tanks at a time. He's up to 8 tanks. He's about to be up to 10.
Oh my god. That's a lot of tanks.
That's excessive at this point.
And we'll see how Homeowner can make use of it. Meanwhile, across the map, Hydra just now soon to be... He is still making tanks. Is soon getting into his additional gas production. 2nd Robo's on the way for double Disruptor production. Disruptors can help against this, but again, we need more time to build up those Disruptors. We only have the 2nd Disruptor coming out now.
Yeah, like so. Started to diversify our splash damage, though, for Hydra, which is always a good thing. And so far with how passive Honmono has been, Hydra is able to get away with this 4th base. He is still slowly but steadily building up his death ball back at home.
He's got a third factory on the way. Jesus. Homono, he's committing hard here to this tank-heavy style. We're now up to 12 tanks. And Homono is soon to max out with still a bio-tank army, but again, still very tank-heavy. And a lot of this is going to come down to the positioning. There's definitely a chance out there where Homono pushes and he gets caught on siege. You know, that's a very real possibility here, and that's what Hydra is hoping for.
Absolutely. That's going to be his best bet right now. It's a little bit more difficult to pull off, though, on a map like Oceanborn, with all of these choke points everywhere, but, you know, that's why we see Hydra already clearing up the paths already. They're trying to make sure that Homono doesn't have as many advantages when the armies do clash, which is going to be pretty soon.
Yeah, Homono, he's scanning, he's keeping eyes on the army, he's moving out with everything he has, going to be slowly staggering his sieges as well. I do appreciate this pre-spreading already, getting set up for a big fight, and Hydra has yet to commit as we do siege up on the high ground.
Do siege up on the high ground, but Hydra is going to be pushing in before most of these tanks siege up. However, it looks like the tanks in the back line are going to be more than enough to chase this away. I don't think I've ever seen Zealots melt that quickly, not even to Widow Mines. This Homono might be onto something here.
He might be. I mean, it's still very committed, a very expensive army. He does go for the mule to repair and top up those tanks. You can see him sieging forward here on the right-hand side. Time is, yeah, going to be working a bit against him, though. Zealot Rambe does get across the map. We do see more Zealots are amassing. We do see Hydra setting up for a concave.
Yeah, a bit of a surround on two angles, and it looks like Homono doesn't quite have enough bio to split effectively in both areas. Tanks is still standing strong though, and Hydra is going to give one of these sides in the surround has fallen. Yeah, Tank only has one angle. He does have high ground.
Does have the high ground, but there are 3 tanks behind this. With barely a gateway army. Nova's going to be going off. We do not split. Big connections on the Marines, but it looks like we barely still have enough. Homono stepping on forward does avoid that Nova, and you can see that Hydra has no more of a gateway army. He has no more buffer, just purely disruptors and a Colossus and a handful of gateway units.
I'm surprised how few kills that Colossus actually has, but yeah, it was doing a lot. It was weakening up these Marines enough to allow Hydra to really come in from the back line. While the main army is distracted, Homono does go for a little bit of a run by.
Yeah, he goes for a big counterattack. Tank shot's going to be going off. We get into the middle line. No major kills, though. Hydra does respond in time. He does preserve most of his probes, so very nicely done here. Good reaction by Hydra. And likewise, he does catch out these tanks. They get shot down.
Like so. But that allows Homono to gain ground over here by the high ground location. I was questioning it earlier on when Homono went up to 3 tanks, or 3 factories, but yeah, he's producing 3 tanks at a time, and with that, he's able to get this foothold up and running once again. Beautiful purification Nova from Hydra.
Yeah, good Novas, but where's his army? That's the problem. Like, pushing into these tanks, as you mentioned, he's already remaxed. He's already at 9 tanks, soon to be 12 tanks once again. The 4th base is completely cut off from Hydra. 4th base is going to be going down, and we do see Hydra just struggling to engage as he also preemptively just gives up on his 4th.
Yeah, which is probably the smart choice here, especially if he's able to lure the bio into an unfavorable position. Hydra was not expecting tanks at the back over there, and so he does take a couple of volleys. He's got 4 Colossus now, but barely any buffer for them.
Exactly. Nova's going to be going off. They will connect with the tanks, but the tanks survive. Tank volley's going to be going off as well. We're barely holding on to that 4th base. We're scanning. We're looking for additional bases, looking for any stray units, and Homono is going to keep on pushing. He will claim this Nexus.
I just realized Homono has not built a single Marauder. He's just been letting his bio die because he can just remake them so quickly. Jeez.
It's a very brute force style. I mean, all of his gas is being spent on tanks, right? Like, it's just pure tank production for his gas. And here we go, we dive forward. The Marines, they focus on a Colossus. You don't see that too often without any Marauders. Ooh, as a Homono is overextending, running into far too many Colossus volleys.
Yeah, but I mean, that doesn't matter because he's making, like, what, 16 Marines at a time?
He does make a lot of Marines there.
Well, that's... Is that medevac boost upgrade?
Yeah, that's the medevac upgrade. I keep forgetting
I
what
don't
it's
see that
called.
too often, but I guess it does make sense.
Yeah, the tank's a little bit late to siege, but they target fire the Colossus. Colossus go down, the Disruptors as well, and Mono snowballs out of control. GG gets called, and Mono will be our new King of the Hill.
GG, nicely done. Not only gonna be the King of the Hill, and gonna do it with, I mean, just looking at the amount of Marines that went down in that map, gonna be doing it with help from the masses.
Oh yeah. GG, well played. A very interesting style here. Like, this playstyle from Homono is not orthodox. It is not normal. That's why we love Homono. You know, he does his own thing. He plays his own way. And yeah, just not relying on any Marauders, as you were mentioning, right? We had 3-3 on the way, but just purely Marine tank, no Marauders, which we otherwise would invest into to focus down those Colossus. Just very tank reliant there on their positioning and on that kind of angle of attack. It was, yeah, really well done by Homono.
Yeah, very, very well done. Also a very expensive, a very, very expensive army that, I mean, getting the tanks and getting the Marines, getting the medevacs is one thing, but also hedging your bets on losing those units, because that was kind of how Homono played it, right? He knew that he was going to lose those units, which is why he invested into 3 factories, which is why he invested into so many Raxes, because he knew he needed to remake and just keep pumping out those units one after the other. The minute one falls, he needs to have 2 ready in the backline in production. That takes a lot of money. It was super, super important for Homono here to not only land his CCs in the right location, but also, yeah, just to have them in the first place and to make sure that Hydra never was able to pose a threat to any of his mining.
Oh yeah, and also to maintain his tanks over time as well, as they are expensive to replace. But here we go, we have our next opponent. We have our next challenger, of course, Homono coming in as the King of the Hill, but we have quite a Titan, one of the best Terrans in Europe, stepping up to take that crown.
Indeed, we do, in a little bit of a cheeky TVT here. Going to be continuing our journey, our story, our annals, our saga, our
Tale.
the history, our tale, our tapestry, our song.
Chronology.
Here on Oceanborn. And the chronology, yeah. In the bottom right corner of the map, spawning all the way in the bottom right, we have the blue Terran player coming out from the land of Poland. He is a player who has been on the rise, just continuing to rise so much for the past year or so. Going to be representing not Psystorm Na'Vi, going to be representing Na'Vi. There we go. Not just Vincer. We have Spirit.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner, but also proxying across the map with his 2 Raxes, we have our South Korean Terran player, the current King of the Hill, representing Team Hyper 1, living in the land of Japan. It is Homono. He's scouted. Oh.
Does get scouted. And Spirit, this isn't the first time he's been proxy 2 Raxed.
Yeah, I mean, Spirit, he's already opening up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, he should know how to respond to this.
100%. It means he's already opening up double gas, which means faster factory, which means delayed TC. Factory's already on the way, and Spirit is now aware and ready to pull the boys at a moment's notice here. Homono will be up in Reapers, that is true, but Spirit just has to buy his time, has to defend long enough to get his Hellion up and running. Once the Hellion comes out, then Spirit will hold.
Yeah, I love the body blocking here as well. That is going to be a proxy factory from Homono.
Oh my.
As a follow-up.
Oh, the layers. Okay, so Homono knows he got scattered. He knows he got scattered. He knows that a straight-up proxy 2-Rax is not going to work, so let's double down. Let's spice things up. We have tech labs on the way and that factory, as you mentioned as well.
Are we going to see a lift? Are we going to see a swap?
It looks like Proxy Marauder. There should be Proxy Marauder here from Homono. Meanwhile, he dips in, ooh, dips out. Again, it's so important here that he keeps Spirit busy while he sneaks out with this Marauder production.
Yeah, Marauder is going to be a great answer to Hellions, which I'm sure Homono is anticipating. But, as we see here from Spirit, it's actually opting for that Cyclone.
And on top of that, Spirit is not expanding.
To be fair, with Concussive Shell. Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, to be fair, with Concussive Shell, I mean, Marauders can still do pretty well against it, but You can still, there's kiting potential.
There is kiting potential. Meanwhile, we do move out ahead of time. Marauder's forced to be revealed. They do try to get some hits in, but you know what? Concussive Shell is not done yet. The Reaper goes down. Good scout here from Spirit. I did mention that we delay the CC. We're going for a starport. Very defensive style here at the Spirit. He does not cut any corners. He does not take a risk.
He knows who he's up against. This isn't his first time in OSC King of the Hill. This isn't his first time playing against Hanmono. A little bit of a premature push coming up from Hanmono by the looks of things, and
yeah,
he's going to lose his Marauders, and now it's 1 Cyclone versus 2.
Oh, exactly. We have boys being pulled to repair. Cyclone is going to be going down. Nice pick up there by Hanmono. The boys are repairing the wrong Cyclone, so a bit of miscontrol there out of Spirit. So he has to pull back, but now we have a tank on the way, and once this tank pops out, I mean, that's going to shut down any kind of ground push.
Yeah, if Hanmono wants to stake his claim, if he wants to secure his rule with a win here, he needs to win sooner rather than later. We even have the Banshees coming out.
Yeah, Banshees
is going to be doubly secure.
Yeah, Banshees are on the way. Tanks are on the way as well. Everything does shoot down. And meanwhile, Hanmono pulls the boys. It's all or nothing for Hanmono. One final push. One final hurrah. He's got 2 Marauders, 2 Cyclones. The tank is already set up. I appreciate as well that the tank is a little bit further back to keep it safe, to get some volleys off and to preserve our bases here. Just a very safe response out of Spirit. Banshee moves out across the map. Risky move from Spirit. We'll see if Hanmono can make use of this.
We now have 3 tanks, but this is a great choke point to utilize. 1 Cyclone already going to be going down. Second tank pops out, but yeah, you know, the initial tank still siege up in the back line. Marauders go down. GG gets called. And Spirit is going to be tossing Hanmono off the mountain and will be our new king of the hill.
GG, well played. Spirit does knock Hanmono down in a very fast game. Not Spirit's fault. Hanmono was the aggressor. He was the cheeser in this game. But Spirit, he's aware of Hanmono, did scout and did shut Hanmono down.
Just like so. GG, once again, it's not his first rodeo. There's a reason why Spirit has been on the up and up and has been very much a contender for, at the very least, #2 Terran player in all of EU. Just behind Clem.
Yeah, I mean, Spirit is a really strong player coming into this, and it's going to take a Titan to bring Spirit down. Not going to be easy to bring down the current King of the Hill. This could be the beginning of a run. I mean, we've had non-stop back and forth. We've had very little win streaks for our players tonight. Very few. I think me and Micah with the longest win streak. We'll see if Spirit can start something here as we're heading over to the European server.
Here we go. I haven't been keeping track with how many maps you've been on so far.
Yeah, quickly just double checking, !B in the chat, everyone, if you guys want to have a look at the back yourselves. Mio Micah has the most wins tonight with 3. He's got 3 wins, Demi has 2 wins, and everyone else has only ever had 1.
So far, Spirit going to be looking to potentially change that. How many challengers does he have up against him, lined up against him?
5. We're 2/3 of the way through.
5.
Okay. All
right, there we go. So Spirit can beat all of them, which is possible. Very possible, depending on who they are. Yeah, he can secure that win streak. He can become our lasting King of the Hill with the longest win streak.
It is possible here. It is
the longest reign.
We'll see if he can as we are getting into our next game. It is going to be Art stepping in here, the Polish Protoss player.
Ooh.
Our Polish Protoss player is going to be coming in as the next contender, and Art does have it in him. He does have it in him here to pose a threat to Spirit. I do want to believe Spirit is going to be the heavy favorite. That is true. There's a reason why he's the King of the Hill. But as we just went over, we've had a bit of a curse going on. Our kings have just not been able to hold on to that crown for more than one game for quite some time.
Yeah. It's the curse of the cat. So I'm going to call it Mio Micah forced to abdicate.
I mean, true. I mean, that's what happens. That's what happens when the King of the Hill doesn't go down like, you know, in a normal fashion, right? It's like this is what happens when
in battle.
Yeah, exactly. When, you know, we had to kind of adjudicate between Demi and Night Phoenix, and because of that, there was a curse on that crown. True.
Yeah,
it's facts.
Scientifically backed up.
Oh yeah. We are getting ready for this here as well.
Yeah, we are, and we're gonna be. We mentioned it earlier, but we do have a bit of an extended map pool here for OSC King of the Hill, and now we're gonna get into our first non-current map pool map, our first old school map. Gonna be a crowd favorite, or at least a favorite of mine.
Let's go. Death Aura. So as Yaku was saying, here at OSC events like OSC King of the Hill and OSC Masters Cup as well, we have an extended map pool. That means we have the normal ladder maps, but we also feature some of the older maps from years gone by the players have voted on, and they are available to our players here to pick, and we're diving into one of them here and now. Very old school map from back in the day.
Indeed, we are. Here we are on Death Aura, where we're here in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, starting all the way in the bottom right. We have our pink Polish Protoss player, gonna be repping that portrait of Beetlgub, also known as Zest, as well as his team Platinum Heroes. We have Art.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the Polish Terran player, not the Polish Protoss, the Red Terran representing Team Na'Vi, the current King of the Hill. It is Spirit.
It's so weird saying representing Team Na'Vi without Storm or Sis Na'Vi. Look, yeah. Na'Vi on its own. That's unnatural.
It's missing something,
we need
right?
Storm Na'Vi.
Yeah. It's missing its other half there.
Yeah, it's missing its link.
There you go.
If you will. What is Na'Vi? Without a link.
For those that are curious, Na'Vi partnered with Storm for WTL, and we've been casting a lot of WTL as of late. And we'll be doing so tomorrow, the day after that as well. And I'm sure we're going to be seeing some more Spirit over the course of the WTL weekend. But now he's up against one of his countrymen here on an older map. A map known for certain features as well. We have speed zones going through the center of the map. We have rich vesting gas bases here in the center of the map as well, which we can embrace in a longer macro game. I remember being in many a late game where we cut the map in half and then we were just going the distance here. This was back in 2020 era of StarCraft, the beginning of COVID, the beginning of EPT, since we were last in this map pool.
I remember those PVZs.
You say PVZs. I remember mech on this map. To be fair, this was also, you just triggered my memory when it comes to PVZ. This was also in the meta of, this was before the Void Ray nerf with Void Ray openers into Skytoss. And we saw a lot of that on this map as well. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. A lot of four nexuses into fleet beacons, into carriers, versus Berserk players who take literally every other base. On the map and try to compete with Corruptors and Brute Lords.
Yeah, the Zerg player gets
and Spore Force versus Cannons. Cannon Fields, it was a dark time.
Yeah. I still burn
Not
into my
just because we were all forced to stay home.
I still remember like Eggs versus Zions on this map. I remember Chan versus Pocket Mike. This is also when we were casting a lot of Sentimental.
Yeah, I remember a lot of Zest versus Rogue.
True. Those were the days. But for now, we're settling in. It's going to be interesting. A straight-up 1-1-1 opener here by Spirit, working towards drop play as the medevac is being prioritized. Meanwhile, Art is going for his tech of choice, going for a Stargate opener, not going for a Twilight Council.
Interesting. Stargate opener and going to be committed to Oracles as well. You don't see this too often nowadays in PvT, as Phoenix openers are a lot more common. Art playing very defensive here, throwing down the Stasis Ward at the entrance to his natural.
Yeah, Art has seen
Not
very
going across the
little.
map with the Oracles.
Yeah, like Art has seen nothing across the map. No probe scout, no scout whatsoever. Does run in a blind trap here at the natural. Spirit sending everything across the map, getting ready for a drop into the main. This pylon is relatively secure, but we could try to focus down the gateway or even the cybercore.
Yeah, thanks to this high ground vision provided by the medevac. Obviously, these are vanilla Protoss units, so not going to be able to blink back and forth or anything like that.
Yeah, the gateway, it's going to go down. There's just too much DPS. We do have additional Stalkers coming in for a clutch warp in. We lose the Adept, so it looks like we barely can hold on. I say that the gateway getting very low.
And it will go down in the end. Oh, Stalkers focusing on the Marines and not target firing all of them.
Yeah, at the same time,
very
across the map,
clutch juggle.
Yeah, Oracles, they dive into the middle line. 10 SV is going to be going down, but we bleed out the gateway. We bleed out the cyber core as well. Massive losses here for Art. He has done a good amount of economic damage across the map, though, and can he hold on? Can he survive?
I cannot believe that only the Widowmine got caught in the stasis ward. This is absolutely best case scenario here for Spirit, but even then, yeah, he's going to be chased away. I say that as he drops his Cyclones into the main base once again. Can he juggle? Can he juggle? Can he? He can juggle.
Yeah, he does pick up, does pull back at the same time. We do have our Liberator arriving across the map. The Immortal has arrived, and it looks like we can barely focus on the Liberator. One more shot does go off. We are barely holding on. As I say that, this Immortal still looking quite exposed. Cyclones are amassing. We do... Jonathan losing Yaku for a moment here, but again, Spirit is going to be rotating around. His drop play continues, diving into the main. Does dive into the main base, going to be dragging Art left and right here. He doesn't really have the supply to defend both locations, but he will shut down the medevac. Medevac goes down, Cyclones as well. Good cleanup by Art, but now we hit the natural at the same time. Art, he's under fire. He's barely keeping up with his opponent as I do get my screen share going.
Thank you.
So good. As we do see Spirit being forced back. 10 more SVs went down across the map. Spirit is down to 31 workers, and both Oracles did survive.
Yeah, Art definitely up against the ropes, but he is fighting back hard as he can. Cyclone should be taken. No, I'm going to be able to zoom past.
Yeah, we barely do keep up. We lock down the Cyclone. Cyclone gets shut down, and we're just going to keep on pushing across the map. Spirit up against the wall, racing back home. Bunker should finish in time. And a shout out to Wardy in the chat. Welcome, everyone. Hope you enjoyed WTL. Welcome to OSC King of the Hill.
And I still top off to end the night.
There we go. The StarCap does continue here as the bunker has finished up. We are going to be able to chase down one of those Vikings. Viking does fall. Marauders likewise can just chunk down. They can just chew away at that bunker. The bunker falls.
Yeah, we do have a tank, but the tank is right on the edge and obviously can also get lifted by the Phoenixes like so. Boys forced to be pulled. Nice target firing on the Phoenixes here from Spirit. Will be able to keep the tank alive long enough to chase back the rest of the ground army.
Whew. Spirit does barely hold on. We got a third CC finishing up as well. Spirit is down in workers, but thankfully has a third base soon to be operational. Getting into sim, into combat shield. Spirit is holding, but back across the map, Art does have an economic lead.
I can't believe how hard Art has bounced back. After losing his first gateway, after losing his cybercore, after being up against the ropes. He is bouncing back, and he is hitting Spirit with everything he's got. He's overtaking Spirit when it comes to the economy. Now all he needs to do is stay alive and continue to build up his death army.
Yeah, as you're mentioning, Art needs to maintain himself. And so far, I mean, we're on 2 Colossus. We don't really have much of a buffer, right? We don't really have much of a gateway army, but that's why we have the gateway explosion on the way. 5 gateways finishing up as we speak. We can now reinforce and actually build up an army to work with. Meanwhile, Spirit is still trying to stabilize himself here as he's now expanding, taking his third.
Yeah, slowly but surely. And we're starting to get to the point where Spirit is stabilizing.
Oh yeah, he is, as we do see our 4th base now on the way. Art's now able to build on up. We do have Charge on the way as well. At the same time, Phoenix is, they managed to get a couple of SCVs here back at the natural. Not too bad, shaving off some more workers. Spirit now getting to his drop play. And we'll see if Art has a bit better luck here keeping up with Spirit. Again, earlier in the early game, we saw Art was barely holding on against the aggression of Spirit. And that aggression is now coming out once again.
Yeah, double drop going into the main base of Phoenix is nowhere in position to be able to prevent this. We have a massive warp in, though. Yeah, you saw the choke point coming out here from Spirit, but yeah, he's gonna get cleaned up.
Yeah, quick reaction there. I mean, nicely done here by Spirit with that positioning. Shuts down all those Zelts, focusing down as many workers as he can. 6, 7 probes falling. We catch a Phoenix as well before we load up, before we boost the hell out of there. Not a bad trade out of Spirit so far, as long as he's able to evacuate and escape with some of these medevacs.
And ordinarily, I'd say that's a big if, but Spirit was able to take out a lot of Phoenixes early on. Only one of them remaining, and it is not going to be enough to take out these medevacs. The Colossus, though, gonna be another story.
We do force the entire army to respond at the same time. Spirit going for his own double drop, but he is spotted. Art does spot the double drop here with these Zealots. Thankfully, he's going to be able to rotate in time, and he should be able to keep up with the drop play of Spirit.
Yeah, and it is just a double drop here. Not going to be the main push or anything like that. Blink still on the way for Art, so he's not going to be able to chase down these medevacs just yet.
Yeah, Blink is soon to finish up, +2 on the way as well. We can see Spirit has been building up on 3 bases. Ghost Academy is done. Tank production well underway. We're stuck with 1-1. The armory just now being thrown down. It's a little bit late here for Spirit, but we can see Art pushing up this ramp. The tanks, they do siege up.
And this is a fantastic choke point to utilize. That's a lot of splash damage, though, from Art.
Yeah, we're getting on top of the tanks. They're falling one after the other. The tanks are going down. And is the curse real? We have not been able to go for a big win streak. We've had one win after one win. Players, Kings being knocked down time and time again. The Prism falls, and it looks like Spirit will clean this up. GG.
Is called Spirit. Gonna be able to break the curse a little bit. Gonna be able to consolidate his reign for at least another game. Been a while since we were able to pop out that GG button.
GG. For the first time in a long time, we have a player winning 2 games in a row. Spirit able to bring down Art. That was a close one, though. Again, Art was getting on top of those tanks. He was able to bring down a lot of them, but it cost him all of his Zelts. It cost him his entire Gateway army. And he just was not able to break Spirit then and there. And that was it. That was game. GG.
That was game. There were definitely great moments here from Art. Again, fighting back really hard after losing that Cybercore and losing that Gateway. He had barely any production left, but he still had an Oracle. He still had an Oracle from earlier on, and he realized, 2 Oracles actually, now that I remember correctly, realized that he could, even though he was taking damage, could send him across the map, could equalize. And he was able to fight back very, very well, but as you pointed out, once Spirit was able to stabilize, once he was able to get into his macro groove and really build up a strong defensive line while still having supply left over to go across the map and deal damage, Art was unfortunately not quite able to keep up.
Yeah, well, I mean, you mentioned at the time, right, the choke point, like, that was maybe the best fight that Spirit could have hoped for, right, is all of his tanks were sieged, and he had the SimCity working in his favor, so, like, that was, like, the ideal position for Spirit, as Art was trying to brute force the issue there. Last didn't go his way. GG, well played. Spirit does take the game, and now we have our next opponent. We're staying here on the European region, and up next is going to be a TVT between Spirit and Nicorette.
The black magic. It was utilized. Nicorette. It's going to be resurrected, yeah.
Yes, we do have our first revive of the night. Nicorette is going to be bouncing back into this. For those who maybe weren't here, exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves. Nicorette was our first player in the tournament at the start of the evening, and was knocked out early on, so it looks like we are giving Nicorette a second life here. Another chance at redemption.
Yeah, Nicorette was, I believe, able to take out 4 Jumi in the first round, but then unfortunately fell to, was it Mio?
Yep.
I think it was Mio Micah. Yeah, my memory's back.
No. We are jumping back into this. And again, just to reiterate, a big shout out to Wardy for that raid. And again, I hope you all enjoyed WTL. We usually also cover WTL World Team League, but we were otherwise preoccupied with OSC King of the Hill tonight. We will be casting World Team League tomorrow, but tonight we're focusing on the King of the Hill.
Yeah. We'll figure out which team rules the world tomorrow, or gets closer to ruling the world tomorrow. As for today, we're going to see which king rules the hill. As we continue our reign, yeah, we'll say reign, our story, our annal, our other synonyms for whatever I'm trying to say. Anyway, we're going to be continuing here on Crimson Court, where we're here in the top right-hand corner of the map. Running all the way in the top right, we have our red Terran player. He is, of course, going to be representing the Platinum Heroes. He was revived. He is a zombie. The Undead King, Nicorakt.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, but also out in the center of the map, we have our blue Terran player. From the land of Poland, our current King of the Hill, representing Team Na'Vi, it is Spirit. And there is a lot to go over, but a big shout out to Dave Tester in the chat. God, Bobby, thank you so much for the gifted sub, gifting a sub to Sirius Black in the chat. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for the gifted sub. Gracias, Bobby, gracias.
Much appreciated, Dave. Quack.
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 And Spirit is going for a bit of a pseudo proxy. It's not too committed here. One racks back at home, one racks across the map. Has potential to do damage. Unfortunately for Spirit, we're opening up 3 racks. Nicorakt will be up in production, will be soon up in Reapers, will have the defender's advantage, and there's a chance if Spirit bleeds out too much, if Spirit loses 1 or 2 Reapers offensively, then things can snowball out of control and Nicorakt can counterattack, and things can escalate very quickly here in this CVT.
Oh yeah. I feel like this is a dynamic we see every other TVT on Crimson Court.
Yeah, it does happen from time to time. I mean, Factory is on the way for Spirits. We do have... did we get a scout across the map here? I mean, Nicorakt does move out across the map, does confirm, and should be able to get eyes on things. There we go, he does get eyes on the 2 Reapers. Up!
And Nicorakt, unfortunately, his own Reapers were split. And so he's going to be giving up one of them. 2 more Reapers will be out here for Nicorakt, though. Him losing one of his SCVs. And, of course, he has that other Reaper out in the map if he wants to send him back home and consolidate.
Yeah, that was actually a really strong start. That was a really good moment here for Spirit. Sniping 1 Reaper already doesn't sound like a lot, but this early on, every Reaper does count in a mirror matchup. So, very strong start here for Spirit. At the same time, Reaper does slip into the middle line. We do force Spirit back home.
And this is probably the best that Nicorakt can hope for here. While he consolidates his own forces, he's going to make sure that Spirit can't really apply too much pressure on himself, or ideally, isn't going to be applying too much pressure on Nicorakt himself.
Yeah, and looking at the units tab, Nicorakt has 5 Reapers to the 5 of Spirits. Again, Nicorakt bleeding out 2 Reapers means that he no longer has a lead, no longer has that advantage. Cyclone is on the way, and if that Cyclone pops out, I mean, we already have 1, soon to be 2. I'm not too sure if Nicorakt can really break through.
Well, if he has the best KD8 charges in the history of StarCraft 2, then I think it's going to be a possibility, but otherwise, yeah, this is going to be rough. Navi's production, the Spirit's production, I saw going off in the name cards, it's a Spirit's production here is a little bit halted as he is getting his add-ons, but like you pointed out, 2 Cyclones, 5 Reapers, this is more than enough for Spirit to defend against any amount of Reapers Nicorakt throws his way.
Yeah, and now Nicorakt is transitioning. We are expanding back at home, going for our CC on location. Spirit going for his CC on the high ground. The game will progress from here, but I do want to give the edge to Spirit as Reapers don't scale anywhere near as well into the mid-game. Not as well as these Cyclones, and even eventually Banshees.
Yeah, as much as I want to believe that unit control will allow you to win with pure Reapers, the math just doesn't work out that way.
Reapers don't shoot
up. My
up.
number 1 enemy, math.
Yeah.
Reapers don't shoot up, yeah. And Banshees, they're up.
They are up. They are up as we do see a bit of an overextension. Skills. Spirit has to be careful here as he does pull back. Ooh, does avoid those KDA charges. Oh.
Yeah, a little bit of a dance back and forth here, but now the Banshee's out. And that should just about be the end of Nicorex. I was going to say the end of Nicorex map presence, but the end of Nicorex resurrection, as Spirit will take that game and will have a 3-game lead. A 3-game streak here in King of the Hill.
GG, well played. Spirit has been on a tear here tonight. 3 wins under his belt, and even win count with Mio Micah, who was, of course, our king earlier today. And that was our longest win streak so far in tonight's OSC King of the Hill. 3 wins has been our longest streak. Can Spirit extend that streak? And can he even our final King of the Hill?
Yeah, on the one hand, somewhat tied up with Mio Micah's streak, but on the other hand, Mio Micah also abdicated early, so I'm still gonna count it here for Spirit. Even if he loses the next game, at least he is gonna be playing in a 4th game.
Mm-hmm. That he will, as it looks like we have our next lobby, we have our next contender. Lobby is set, and once again we're going back into the TVP matchup. We're getting back into some Polish on Polish action. Up next, Spirit versus Cristiano.
A little bit of a rematch over what we saw last weekend. This weekend. Last weekend? A weekend.
Yeah, kind of. So, yeah. When it comes to the House Galactic battle, we had an interesting dynamic here. So, for those who weren't here last week, we hosted a big Polish LAN. The best of the best players in Poland were there, and Cristiano was our champion. Cristiano, he knocked down a laser in the grand finals. But Spirit was not there. He was supposed to be there. Spirit was invited to the event. He was supposed to be there. Spirit wasn't, because last weekend it was Spirit's mother's birthday. He let us know that he was with his family. He priorities, right? Be there for your family, 100%. And Spirit was unable to participate in that LAN. He wasn't there.
Unfortunately, they should have just had the party at the LAN.
True.
Anyway. We're going to be continuing our journey here on Oceanborn. We're over here in the top left-hand corner map, spawning all the way. In the top left, we have our red Polish Protoss player. He, of course, is going to be representing Starlight Twinkle. SLT. We have our House Galactic champion, Cristiano.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Terran player from Lena, Poland, representing Navi, our current King of the Hill, with 3 wins under his belt. It is Spirit. Cristiano was crowned the best player in Poland, but as we just went over, Spirit was not there at the event. There's a bit of an asterisk on Cristiano's crown there, on his trophy. The fact that Spirit was not a player that he could play against. Now, fun fact, at the start of the year, in the first House Galactic battle, Cristiano did defeat Spirit in that tournament. So he's already done it before this year. Can he do it again?
Yeah, that's what we're about to find out. Cristiano, already the current King of Poland, but now we're on a hill.
We're not in Poland anymore,
Yeah, we're getting high.
There you go.
Ain't no hills in Poland, from what I've heard.
No hills whatsoever, as the CC is going to be thrown down. We were being quite a nuisance here, and we did delay it for a moment or two, but outside of that, Cristiano's going to be backing off. Meanwhile, Spirit did open up economically, going for a Rax expand.
Yeah, nice and normal. Delaying the Reaper, or actually skipping on the Reaper entirely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Spirit, he avoids the Reaper. He doesn't go for an SCV scout, so very Korean-esque, very greedy here, just being as efficient as possible and just getting into our own game. We're still to confirm Cristiano's opener of choice, and now we have our tech.
That is, in fact, going to be a Twilight Council getting thrown down. So, very different from what we saw from Art. Not going to be a Stargate. No Oracles, no Phoenixes, no anything of that proportion.
Here we go. We are settling into our 2-base setup here. As you mentioned, it is going to be Twilight Council into Blink. And the question becomes, how many gateways, how many Blink Stalkers here for Cristiano? We could be 2-gate Blink, 3-gate Blink, or 4-gate Blink, depending on how aggressive Cristiano wants to be, as he is sending out his first Adept across the map and trying to get a read on what Spirit is up to.
Yeah, so far all he's going to get eyes on is the Cyclone. He actually is able to shade into the main base.
Oh, yeah, he does shade in, gets a full scout of the main, confirms the 1-1-1, so he knows there's no 2-1-1 or 3-vax timing or like 3-vax factory setup or anything like that. So upon seeing this, Cristiano should be feeling pretty safe.
That he should be feeling pretty safe to expand, get his tech up and running. Obviously still going to be getting the safety shield battery, but still feeling safe to get his production, get his upgrades, and saturate his natural base.
Yeah, I imagine it's going to be just a 2-gate opener into a third. As I say, that third gateway is being thrown down, so a bit of a safer response here by Cristiano. Meanwhile, Spirit is building up and working towards his drop. Medevac is being sent across the map with 2 Widow Mines. There's potential here. We'll see what we can get done. As I will set that up here. Yeah, it happens. Connection to the European server. It's all good. It's all good.
Spotty at best. Yeah.
Beautiful. Here we go. But again, thankfully, you know, there was that lag spike, not in the middle of anything. There was nothing quite going on. As Spirit is poised to go for the drop, is right outside of that main. Meanwhile, we do see Cristiano. He actually went for the Bay before the Nexus.
Yeah, so once again, Cristiano just opening up as safe as can be against Bioterran, which is what Spirit is working on with that 2-rack setup that he's got right now. 2 racks is 1-1, getting stim, getting tanks, and we should be seeing him push out as soon as stim finishes.
Yeah, we'll see how committed he's going to be. But as you mentioned, like, Cristiano could have cut corners, but we haven't, right? We went for a 3rd gateway, we went for the Bay, we went for the Forge, we went for a delayed 3rd base here. So Cristiano just playing things out very safely. Things are still quite neck and neck between Cristiano and Spirit. No major moves yet, but you can see that Spirit is primed and ready for some multi-pronged aggression. We have a Widowmine drop here towards the right-hand side, and we have a Liberator towards the south.
Yeah, very interesting quirk from Spirit. You don't see this too often from any other Terran player in PvP specifically, opening up with a Liberator like that.
Yeah, very interesting here as we do have our move out across the map. Spirit is going to be pushing. Likewise, Cristiano trying to slow this down. The mine drop does come in.
And it will burrow behind the mineral line. No. I was going to say no connections just yet, but one of them will connect. Gets about 3 probes in the Widow Mine. Gonna connect with another 2 probes, so combined with the Liberator damage, which is still getting damage. Jeez.
Yeah, Liberator.
That's quite a bit this early on.
Yeah, we got 9 worker kills in total. We got the Liberator, and then actually we got mine shots going off in the main. At the same time, we tried to push right through the center, but Cristiano was able to keep up, did force field the ram, did slow down the push, and didn't lose too much either. 4 Stalkers went down. Instead, we dive into the natural.
Yeah, and this mineral line is not long for this world. 8 more probes go down. Not quite enough Stalkers here to really take him out. Yeah, Cristiano, he was keeping his eyes on that push in the center of the map, moved his army away from the natural, and Spirit was able to take advantage of that.
Yeah, he was able to take advantage. As I'm gonna try and solo cast for now. I'm dropping frames. Screen sharing less than ideal. Yeah. But we are gonna be jumping into this, and Spirit, Cristiano does take quite a bit of damage. That's 20 probes, 20 workers going to be going down in between all 3 of these bases. The aggression for Spirit was successful. Very successful. He is building up back at home, has yet to move out, but he does spot the Observer. Observer gets sniped, and Cristiano is in a bit of trouble here. He does have 3 bases. He can recover economically, but Spirit is not too far behind. Interesting. Okay, yeah, there we go. So the 3rd base is about to finish up. We're long distance mining here at the 3rd base location as well. Spirit is still just building up, but when he pushes out, I'm not too sure if Cristiano can really stop him. As Spirit now has quite a supply lead. We have quite a lead here. Cristiano gets eyes on this. He pulls back, and I mean, at least he has retained his Colossus, right? He's got 3 Colossus, he's got a Gateway Explosion on the way. Cristiano can recover, but I would say that he's vulnerable right now. Cristiano is vulnerable. He's been spending a lot of money replacing all those dead workers and all those dead probes. And Spirit has a window. He has a window. He has a timing here. 4cc on the... Never mind. 4cc on the way, so Spirit looking even further ahead. This is spotted by the hallucination, so Cristiano is aware. The Spirit is still going to be pushing out, is spotted by the Zealots. So a nice catch there by Cristiano. He's aware of the move out. Spirit going to be pushing through the center. Cristiano trying to meet him here at the ramp. Tanks do siege. Oh. Tank volleys don't quite go off, and Spirit has to take the long way around. If Spirit tries to force his way up this ramp, then we can force field. We can shut him down. Does rotate over instead. Yeah, we knock down the rocks. Spirit headed for the 4th base. We just see Cristiano forces the siege. Tanks, they do siege up ahead of time. Army sims on 4th. We have 3 Colossus. We can hold on. We can buy some time, but we need warpins. Cristiano desperately does need those warpins. Disruptor is on the way. Tanks are slowly pushing forward. Yeah, big shots going off on the Zealots. You can see Spirit gaining ground, and Cristiano, he pulls the trigger. He commits. The tanks, they did unsiege for a moment. There are big volleys going to be going off on the Colossus. Overcharge is popped. The Colossus are within range of the overcharge, but there's just not enough on the ground. There's not enough support. We stim on forward. We focus out the first Colossus, the second, and soon to be the 3rd. GG gets called, and Spirit takes game number 1, or takes the next game, and is still our king of the hill. GG. Whew.
We're not in Poland anymore.
True. GG, well played. Spirit will take down Cristiano. Just turning our cams back on. And how many games do we have left? Again, a really nice, really solid game there out of Spirit. Cristiano was holding his own, but again, with that multi-prong aggression, that was 20 probe kills. That was an insane amount of damage that Spirit dealt with his aggression.
That it was. Got to the point where that stacked up, right? Cristiano already opting for a defensive setup. Just wasn't able to defend. Just had a couple of kinks in his armor that Spirit was able to take full advantage of and take out so many probes that eventually, as the game continued, he just didn't have enough resources to continue fortifying himself, continue building up those walls and those castles.
Oh yeah, he just wasn't able to keep up, and in the end, Spirit did take it, and now Spirit has an even longer lead here, a greater lead. That is the 4th. Yeah, that's 4 wins under his belt, and we have our next opponent. We have another revived player.
We do, and this time we might be seeing a little bit of a different side of our revived player, potentially.
Yeah, it's hard to tell here. I did slip into those DMs. I'm trying to figure that out myself, as we are reviving another player that was competing earlier. Up next is going to be Spirit versus Eva.
Eva.
Let's go.
Did play Zerg against Miyamika earlier tonight. Didn't quite go his way, but now he's up against a Protoss Terran player. And so he might be showing off a little bit more of his Protoss side, potentially. Not too sure which matchup Iba is more comfortable on, as he does play both. Historically, Iba has been a Zerg player. He won his first Epic LAN off the back of his Zerg. But in the past couple of months has been playing a lot more Protoss, has been practicing a lot more as Protoss, and I think has gotten to a point where he can pretty much, or he is feeling pretty comfortable picking and choosing based on who he's up against.
Yeah, and I am just inquiring. I'm trying to figure out, is he gonna play Protoss or Zerg? He just let me know that in one of the most recent EPT Cups, they went to the ace match with Iba playing Protoss, like Iba and Spirit, which is pretty impressive. He let us know that he has beaten Spirit's Terran before, and he's feeling confident in his Protoss, but he's also letting us know that in the past couple of days, he has not been playing Protoss, so he's a little bit rusty, which is why he played Zerg earlier. So it's still up in the air whether we go for the Protoss or the Zerg here.
Flip a coin.
We might just.
See how it goes.
Might just.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Could be either or.
Could it be either or? Our players are
And
just
I'm
setting
not,
up their lobbies.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not somebody who is good enough to play more than one race. I mean, I can barely play my main race well. So I'm not really sure how a decision like that would be made. If it's like riding a bike, if you haven't practiced in a couple of days, I mean, I imagine you do need at least 1 or 2 warm-ups as your as the race that you're a little bit rustier on. So I'm not sure if that's something that Iba is feeling too comfortable on right now, as it is very early over in over the land of Britain.
Yeah, we shall see. And yeah, Iwa just clarifying as well that that Iwa did defeat Spirit with his Protoss, as Spirit playing Terran. But we have our lobby. Our lobby has been chosen, and
It would be weird if Spirit wasn't playing Terran.
it would be a little bit. But thank you for our clarification, as it looks like Iba is actually, I believe, going to be committed to Zerg. Unless we switch out at the last second.
No.
But it should be Zerg.
How fast are those hands?
We shall see, as we're at least going to be loading in to Alcyone.
Yeah. This was the map that Iba also picked against Miomaika, I believe.
Yeah,
they're definitely very comfortable on this map.
True. Did pick it against Miomaika as well. This is one of the more standard macro-oriented maps in the map pool, and we might be able to sink our teeth into a more macro game. I mean, we're deep into the tournament. We're almost wrapped up with our broadcast here tonight, but it feels like we haven't really seen much macro play. We've seen a lot of aggression and a lot of like 2 or 3 base play, but it feels like we haven't gone to the late game yet.
Well, 3 of our 15 games have been featuring Miomaika.
True.
2 of them have been featuring Demi, or...
Yeah.
Was it 2 or was it 3? Yeah, 3 of them have been featuring Demi.
Uh-huh.
That's 6. And then we've had, what, 2 or 3 PvPs?
Uh-huh.
Additional PvPs? So
yeah,
more than half of our... Yeah, and then we had 2 of them with Homono.
Uh-huh.
So... a little bit... It is a little bit odd how quickly we've been going through our hill tonight, how quickly we've been able to climb the mountain. But when you actually break it down and when we actually look at the individual matches, yeah, then it starts to make a bit more sense.
It really does. It really does. I think our longest game was actually the game where Homono went up to 3 bases and went mass tank. I think that may have been our longest macro game, but regardless, it's been a treat here tonight. It's been a lot of fun, and now we're diving into one of our final matchups of the night.
I was going to say it was either that or it was Demi versus Night Phoenix, when Night Phoenix was able to get Mothership out. But even then, still Gateway regardless. But anyway, yeah, we're going to be continuing our climb, our trek, our scaling of the mountain here on Alcyone, where we're here in the bottom left corner map. Starting all the way in the bottom left, we have our red Terran player coming out from the land of Poland, already staking and securing his claim as the current king of the hill, also slaying the king of Poland in the previous best of 1 there against Christianer. We have, for team Natos Vincere, never been quite certain how to pronounce it, we have Spirit.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the blue Zerg player from the land of the UK representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Eva.
Already coming down with the bruh spray.
These goddamn Zoomers and their sprays. Shaking my head as, yeah, we're going to be settling in. And again, Eva isn't really too much of a cheesy player. Spirit can be aggressive in this matchup, 100%. But I feel like this is a really good matchup for us to really sink our teeth into a ZVT and have more of a back and forth.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree. We haven't had too many ZVTs tonight, but I'm definitely with you on that. It's the most dynamic matchup, or arguably the most dynamic matchup, with both of our players typically going back and forth, vying for map control. sometimes we can see a little bit of a roach rush, a little bit of an 8-Rax just punch through everything, and so we don't quite have that back and forth. Instead, we just have non-stop aggression. But I have a feeling that that's not going to be how this particular match is going to play out.
I feel like my eyes are mainly on Spirit. I feel like Spirit was known for a very long time to be hyper greedy, just a really greedy player rushing to a 3rd CC, a 4th CC very fast as well. Speaking of, it is going to be a 3 CC opener before the factory is even done, so it is going to be economic. But we've also seen like a different side of Spirit as of late. We've seen like a hyper aggressive Spirit going for these timings, going for BC into mech or into 8-Raxes. Like he does like to spice it up from time to time.
Yeah, to quote Cyril, Spirit is a mad lad.
There you go, that's a quote. Did say that. True.
Yeah. Or paraphrasing, it was more of like these mad lad parents, Maru and Spirit.
True.
Something along the lines of what he said.
Beautiful. Wise words. As we are going to be settling in again, just an economic opener here out of Spirit. Eba likewise getting his 3rd base up and running as well, just rotating his queens over, droning up, and settling into a standard game.
Yeah, slowly but surely going to be securing himself down. Spirit on the flip side of things also playing pretty standard, economic standard, but standard nonetheless, and will be going for that Hellion Banshee push. Yes. Ordinarily, when I see Banshees and Hellions moving out in the map, I keep my eyes peeled in the production tab to see if we see an armory, but knowing Spirit and knowing that he did open up 3cc, I don't think it's going to be that committed.
Oh yeah, and Eba confirms as well. He confirms the 3rd CC timing, confirms the lack of armory. He does get eyes on the researching tech lab, so Eba sees everything in the main base. Big scout for Eba. Now he can respond with eventually spores for anti-air, queens as well, and he knows he can play this out safely, going straight for the lair as his tech of choice.
Yep. So all he needs to do is make sure his queens are in position to deflect against these Hellions. He isn't getting spore crawlers just yet, but we are actually getting the armory from Spirit. Yeah. Never mind everything I was saying earlier.
I mean, what's important here is it's after the scout, right? After the scout, and because of the scout, Eba went for a lair first. He delayed his Baneling nest. He is amassing queens, yes, but barely any lings. There is potential for Spirit. We have 15 lings to defend, but again, 0 Banelings. Can we make this work?
And I'm just going to preemptively dip out as my ping is not going down, and I don't want that to come into play.
Fair enough, fair enough. Feels bad, man, the connection from C to EU. But we are going to be settling in. Again, the armory is now done. Hellions are amassing as we speak. We do have how many queens in total? We have 9 queens to defend, but we have to bring them all together. As here we go, the Hellbats are pushing forward. The Hellbats, they dive on the queens. They attempt to focus them down. We do react in time. We do pull away. Thankfully, no queens falling yet, but here come the Banshees. They come in to snipe the Banelings. And very nice target firing here out of Spirit. The Banelings go down. No Banelings to defend. Queens scrambling for a defense. So far, clutch transfuse. Queens are not going down, but there we go. 1 queen finally falls. We're catching another. There is detection, but very little here to support. As we're getting into the mineral line, clutch defense so far, and we are holding on the Banelings. The Banelings, they finish up just in time. We shut down the Hellbats, and we're holding. Oh my god. We're holding. We are defending. We got a couple of volleys off in the mineral line. A lot of these drones are low. They're red, but only 2 workers go down. We hold. Eba does hold on.
We hold?
What does it cost us here? It costs us 5 queens. 5 queens went down, a handful of lings. That was a lot of queen damage, but Eba does defend, and Spirit is going to fall back. Does at least keep the Banshees alive, and we are entering a longer game. Going to be entering a longer game here. Do see Eba taking the gold, getting his 4th base as well, just droning up, getting up to 80 workers, soon to be. Hydra Den on the way, so it's going to be Lingbane Hydra here by Eba. And a Spirit across the map is throwing down additional Raxes. How many Raxes are we on? 5. That's soon to be an 8-Rax setup. I don't see a 4cc yet. We are taking 1 extra gas, and we are prioritizing it as well. So it looks like Spirit should soon be throwing down a 4cc, but we'll keep an eye on his setup here as he's getting add-ons. Okay, he is getting add-ons. He's making use of our gases. keep an eye on Spirit to see if he does expand. Meanwhile, Eba spreading his creep. Now that he's defended, the creep is being spread as freely as possible. We're taking the gold base. Things are looking up here for Eba, soon getting into his production, into his Lingbane production here. And I still don't see a 4. I still don't see a 4 CC for Spirit. We are going to be committing on 3 bases quite hard. We did take an extra gas geyser, but it looks like that's just for upgrades. That's for Marauder production instead. It looks like we are indeed 8-raxing. At the same time, Eba going for a big lane counterattack. Ooh, he is caught out though. We have plenty of reinforcements. Yeah, and Spirit, he's committed. Is going for a 3-base all-in. So far, clearing up creep. Spirit setting up for his push. Meanwhile, Eba has been unable to saturate that gold base. Has the gold, but no saturation yet. Is up to 80 workers, massing up Lingbane Hydra, mustering up an army. But Eba has to be very careful with how he does engage. As again, Spirit still no CC. No 4th base, no 2nd factory. Does have a worker in position for that. But is slowly pushing forward. Tanks getting within range of the hatchery. We're trying to saturate, but I'm not sure if we can. Yeah, tank bully's going off. Eba having to expand elsewhere. And Spirit is gaining ground. Eba still pulling back again. He doesn't want to be too premature. Eba cannot afford a bad fight. So still building up his Lingbane. Trying to go for a counterattack. We have Lings moving out towards the left-hand side. Attempting to catch reinforcements. The gold base has fallen and Spirit is pushing ever closer here towards a 3-base setup of Eba, towards the 3rd base. And soon we have to pull the trigger. Back at home we have defended and we're going in! A little bit too soon. We bleed out a lot of Lingbane and Eba, he's in trouble. Yeah, he's gonna pull the trigger, trying to collapse on top of this. But a beautiful spread by Spirit, the Lingbane does not connect. Yeah, we shut down the Lingbane, barely any support left, and Spirit, he's pushing in. There's just far too much Terran. Eba up against the wall. Barely any creep to work with. We do dive on top of the tanks. Tanks going to be going down, but what about the Fire? What about the Marines? We stim on forward, we stim, and we win. There's no Banelings left. No Hydras. GG. Spirit will take the game. Will remain our King of the Hill. Whew.
GG, the good old brick. Never lets you down in TVC.
GG, well played. That was a different variation of 8-racks all in. It was interesting just because we did take an extra gas geyser. That was for extra add-ons, for tech labs, for more marauders as well, but a very strong push there from Spirit, and Eba just barely could not keep up with that.
Yeah, barely. I mean, it was a great start from Eba, from what I've been able to glean from the radio cast. Was able to defend against the Armory, was able to get a real good defense and was able to start macroing up. But unfortunately, Eba was macroing and Spirit had absolutely no intention of letting him get away with that.
Yeah, not at all. Fun fact, Eba just messaged me. He's like, Smoj, I just wanted to play a macro game. True.
He just wanted to play StarCraft.
We all just wanted the macro game, but as you said, Spirit says no to that. Goes for the 3-base all-in, catches Eba with his pants down a little bit there as Eba was taking up into Hive and droning as well. He droned up to 82. Was unable to make use of that goal base, and with that, Spirit does take it, and I believe we have one game left.
Yeah, one challenger remaining. Who's it going to be? As just a bit of a side note, I gotta say, I'm loving that we're seeing Marauders come back in TVZ. Especially against Banelings. I mean, for a very long time, I feel like the idea was just go Marine Tank, because obviously Marauders not going to be too ideal against Lingbane. Obviously, they can take Baneling shots, but, you know, ideally, just split your Marines anyway. I know we're seeing them back. We're seeing them back thanks to, I want to say, due to a resurgence of, lurkers, but I don't know, that ain't it.
Yeah, I mean,
it's mostly just Terran players are realizing that, wait a minute, Marauders are good.
Yeah, again, it was a more unique variation of of 8 racks there to incorporate all those motors. And I mean, we saw them do quite well. You know, it was great to be able to have a wall off to shut down the Ling Bane, to protect those tanks as well. Part of it was also because, again, Eba was caught off guard and not fully aware of the all-in that was coming his way either. But regardless, GG, well played. Spirit does take it. And now we have one matchup left. One final contender. One final challenger. It's going to be a TVP.
What a way to end things. It was a noble match to crown a king of the hill.
There we go. Can Spirit be stopped? Can his reign end, or will it rule, or will he rule forever here? As our next challenger is going to be the Protoss player, Shameless.
Indeed. Already, Spirit going to be coming in with the longest streak of the evening. But will he be able to keep his crown and continue to defend that next week?
Yeah, we'll see, because he's up against a young up-and-comer. You know, Shameless, our Protoss player here, has been looking very impressive over the past, I want to say, 8 months. Ever since the end of 2023, he's been getting better and better results, some bigger and bigger wins in favor of him. He's been more on our radar. And can he take it to one of the best Terran players in Europe?
That's what we're about to find out as we load into Oceanborn, our final battleground for the evening. Over here in the bottom right-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom right. We, of course, have our blue Protoss player. He is, of course, going to be representing Twisted Minds. We have Shameless.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the red Terran player from the land of Poland, representing Team Na'Vi with a 5-game win streak. We didn't think it was possible. Again, there were barely any win streaks tonight in OSC King of the Hill, but he is our current King of the Hill. It is Spirit.
Breaking that curse, breaking the resurrected players, breaking everything, breaking my internet.
True.
And, yeah, it looks like he is going to be... I mean, he's looking in absolutely fantastic form. He's been... Especially as we continue his streak, it does feel like he's been leveling up more and more. It feels like he's been just warming up at the start and now really getting into his groove.
Oh yeah, exactly. Like Spirit is, I mean, there's a reason why he's one of the best Terrans in Europe. There's a reason why we even say he's contender for top 2 Terran in Europe as well. He has been a beast in his own right over the past couple of years. And even though Shameless has been on the up and up, Spirit is still the favorite player. There's a reason why he's on a win streak. There's a reason why he's the king of the hill. But I want to believe that Shameless can pull one over on him. I want to believe that he has a chance to cause an upset.
Yeah, it only takes one. And that can be only one.
Yeah. That's math.
Equals 0. No, wait.
As for the time being, it's going to be an economic opener by Spirits, going for a Rax expand into the factory, but a very safe economic opener as he goes for the CC on the high ground, not going for it on location. So Spirit just, you know, being as careful as possible here against Shameless. Meanwhile, Shameless is opting to go for Twilight Council.
Yeah, seems to be the more common of our openings here in PvT so far. I believe it was only Art who opened up with a Stargate. That's against Spirit specifically.
Yeah, that was with Art opening up Oracle, and to be fair, again, that was a really close game. Like that, like there's a world out there where instead of Spirit being the king of the hill, it could have been Art. Like that Death Aura game was so close between the two of them. So yeah, again, a bit of a bittersweet end there for Art, but maybe Shameless was watching. Maybe he was keeping an eye on Art as well, as he is taking a different approach, but still a TVP.
Nice bait out here. Rare Time Shade from Shameless.
Slick moves here by Shameless. Behind this, we have Blink getting into our gateways. For the time being, it's going to be a 2-gate Blink opener for now. We'll see if we invest a little bit harder, as likewise, Spirit is also looking to move out with his own aggression.
Yeah, it's going to be a double Cyclone drop coming out from Spirit, obviously with little bit of marine support, a little bit of that move out to poke around at the natural base. And once again, Spirit opting for this Liberator.
Yeah, this is the same opener that Spirit did against Art, actually, on Death Aura. So
Yeah,
we brought it
Art
up for a
and,
reason.
Christiana on Oceanborn.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so the same opener so far as Spirit does head for the natural base. We do have some units in position, but no shield battery. Uh-oh. Oh.
Everything is exposed. Widowmine going to be connecting with that Adept. Nice juggling so far coming out from Spirit, keeping that Cyclone alive for as long as possible, even keeping Marines alive for as long as possible.
Yeah, hot
He
pickups.
powers the gateway as well as the Robo.
Yeah, hot pickups there by Spirit does break on through. We do have some nice control out of Shameless, preserving his Stalkers for as long as he can. But a second Stalker goes down. He does get the medevac. But what about the army? What about the bios? We're getting to the mineral line. Probes are now going down.
Yeah, without the medevac, there's less micro potential and potentially less sustain here for Spirit. But do we need sustain? Is this game going to go on for that much longer?
Yeah, as it looks like we shut down the pylon, we deny the warp in, we only have the one gateway powered in the main base, warping in one Stalker at a time. The Liberator has arrived, and we have control of the natural. This early push from Spirit has snowballed out of control. It's just becoming too much to handle, and Shameless, he can barely sustain himself, he can barely keep up.
GG is called. Our shortest game of the evening is going to be our last. Spirit will secure himself as the OSC King of the Hill, number 143, with a 6-game win streak. I'm honestly flabbergasted at what we've just witnessed. That build from Spirit was not meant to be an all-in, but I guess it just goes to show that if you have good enough unit control, it can be.
Yeah, it just escalated very quickly there. I mean, again, Spirit, he was able to shut down the Adepts initially, shut down the Pylon, deny the Warp in, establish himself with that Liberator. It all just kind of came together for Spirit. We saw in previous TVPs with Christiana and with Art how they were able to shut it down ahead of time. If you remember, Christiana opened up with a safety shield battery. If you remember, Art was able to counterattack with oracles and pull back to his main base, and it was a bit of a more chaotic defense for Art, but he was also able to pull it off. Shameless unfortunately did not see the move out coming, so unlike the other two Protoss players, Shameless was blindsided.
Yeah, I mean, again, very unique opening from Spirit. It's not really something that we see from a lot of other Terran players, so it does require a lot of diligent scouting. It does require the appropriate follow-up, and unfortunately, I guess Shameless just isn't as practiced against this opening that Spirit has displayed.
Yeah, I mean, it also kind of comes down to that first Adept. If you remember how we did avoid the mine shot, but we also didn't scout the move outs, which is what was necessary there, right? To be aware of how much danger we were in. So, yeah, the Adept did race back home. We didn't spot the move out. We weren't quite ready for it. Like, things, yeah, were quite difficult for Shameless in the end. And congratulations to Spirit. As you mentioned, he is our final King of the Hill. And we can even take a moment here to go over the bracket and to kind of wrap up on what's been going on.
Yeah, one of the more chaotic brackets that we've had in OSC King of the Hill, with not that many win streaks and fairly short win streaks for the ones that we did have. Mio with that 3 streak, Demi with that 2 streak, but everything, and of course Spirit here with our 6 streak. Spirit coming in, bringing balance and stability to his kingdom. But yeah, before that, just a whole lot of 1-0s.
Yeah, just quickly going over it. Yeah, we had Demi taking down Mixu, we had Papi taking down Demi, Hydra taking down Papi, Homono taking down Hydra, Spirit came in, but like it was very back and forth, very chaotic for the middle of our tournament broadcast here. You glossed over it, but yeah, like Mio kind of was our longest reigning king at the start, and he didn't even lose, to be fair. Like, Miyamika was undefeated tonight. As for those that are curious, Miyamika did bow out after beating Eva because something came up. We don't know quite what, but you know, maybe it's just some otherwise something else just scheduled, some conflicting scheduling or something else happening. But Miyamika did have to leave us.
Wake up early tomorrow.
True. So
potentially,
Miyamika did have to bow out, and we got a fresh set of players. But you know, potentially Miyamika could have had a deeper run as well.
Yeah, potentially. This was a Miyamika who learned how to spread creep and make banelings.
It's crazy. Oh my god.
It's unstoppable. This is so...
Miyamika we've never seen before, so hopefully we get to see more of Miyamika next time. And a shout out to all the competitors we had tonight as well. It was definitely a great showing. A shout out to Wardy for giving us the raid earlier. Again, hope everyone enjoyed World Team League. We will be casting World Team League tomorrow. I'm sure Wardy will as well. But not just that, this weekend is a special one because we will also be the B stream for the SC2 Safe House.
Indeed. 8 players, if I have my math correctly, a bunch of players have been invited to go down to Las Vegas in that little safe house for a little bit of a cheeky little tournament that is going to be hosted there by Zombie Grub. Obviously, a lot of other guest commentators as well going to be coming down there. But over here, we're going to be holding down the B stream and covering some of the matches that won't be in the A stream.
Exactly. So we're going to be covering day 1, the round robin group stage. It's round robin, so a lot of games. A lot of games are going to be held tomorrow in the SC2 Safe House. So we're going to be featuring players like Cham, like Eggs, like Trigger, Estrella, Dolan. Yeah.
Our very own Duckling Dolan. Very NA-based, or not just NA, but Americas based event.
Yeah. It's going to be a great time. So if you're interested, do tune in tomorrow. Likewise, we're also going to be casting World Team League. Sea Duckling Open is also tomorrow as well. So we're casting 3 events. It's going to be a long day. It's going to be a very long day. But Sea Duckling Open to be held as well. That is, of course, our monthly Bronze to Diamond tournament. So if you're out there, if you happen to be between the ranges of Bronze and Diamond, if you want to compete in a fun tournament, then we're going to have one tomorrow before WTL.
Yeah, I can guarantee it's a lot of fun. Sea Duckling Open. Sea Duckling Open, Mazaswan Open, a lot of our amateur events that were kind of what we started the team on, kind of what we were initially meant to do, and unfortunately did have to take a little bit of a step back about a year ago, but we're bringing them back. We're bringing them back, and we're coming out swinging.
Oh, yeah, we're bringing back our amateur events, and yeah, I hope you enjoy all the StarCraft that's coming at you this weekend. It's a weekend full of StarCraft, and we're going to be a big part of that. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for the support. Stick around. We're going to be giving another StarCraft streamer a raid. I believe Rotterdam did just begin the Big Brains bout, number 62, so check that out over on Rotterdam's channel. And we'll give some love to some of the other smaller streamers out there. I see a couple. I see Showtime streaming. I see Aristory streaming. Give them a chance. Give them a chance.
Yeah. Give them a chance, whoever we decide to raid. It might be Chance. Chances of streaming.
If only he would. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching, everyone. Thanks so much for the support. Yaku, thank you for joining me tonight. I do appreciate it. It's been a while since we've casted OSC King of the Hill together. And do you have anything you want to say before we head off for the night?
There can be only one.
Okay.
Landing high enough.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for the support. We'll see you guys tomorrow for some Sea Duckling Open, WTL, and SC2 Safe House.
One after the other. See you then.